Welcome in, everybody. It's game one of the gold finals. Headed into draft, we've got QLG Academy on the blue side and Miami Vice on the red side. I'm Fenbach. I am joined by. Can I get an introduction, please? Nobody. It's just me for now. We'll find out who's joining me here in a minute. We got a Heimerdinger band from QLG Academy. Misfortune taken away by Miami Vice. Heimerdinger played to great effect by Pizza last week, as was the Jacks, also taken away by QLG Academy. Fizz going to be taken off the table from Miami Vice. See if there's going to be a third ban thrown at top lane. Pizza was definitely a large part of the win last week, but it will be a jungle ban with the Zinzao and Seraphine taken away by Miami Vice. A lot of strong first picks left available. Have to see what QLG wants to prioritize.
Knowing QLG, they're probably going to look for a jungle pick. As they like to do, they like to slam their jungles and then go generally more scaling bot lanes. But actually, I'm mixing them up with Vice. But I think Vice is going to stick with their scaling strategy. They've been the best late game team in the league, while QLG has relied on slamming lanes to build advantages. I am interested by the early reveal of Ahri. That tells me they're probably saving last pick for Pizza. They want to give him those strong matchups where he can really look to carry the game. And I do think that's their easiest path to victory here. Meanwhile, we're going to get a strong response coming out of Razors. I do like the Aurora. He's been decent on the champ, but I wouldn't have it in like his top 5 this split. So I'm a little more interested by it, but I do like the matchup generally.
Yeah, I would say it's probably more of a matchup pick than anything else. You would really like to have an Orianna with the Nocturne, but I don't think it's particularly great into the Ahri. Plus, Ahri's just a very safe pick with that dive combo.
Yeah, and while Ori is a good mix with Nocturne, it's not really a champion I see Pizza on much. He can play it though. I do like Vicenna. Vicenna's just been disgusting this whole split. She's felt like a cheat code, and looks like she's going to continue to get priored in this series.
I did cast some Senna last night. She did just get nerfed on the patch on Wednesday, so she's not quite as strong as she used to be. Her soul generation is a little bit down, but still very strong champion. It's going to be matched by the Shen from Miami Vice. Interesting.
They have used the Shen before. It looked pretty good the last time I saw it, but I have a feeling this is going to be a top jungle flex for them. Because Pizza does play it, but Rapid Sammy looked absolutely disgusting on this champion last week, and it gives so much versatility to them comp-wise. I mean, yeah, you have a Nocturne Aurora, so you have pretty strong pick, but they're gonna have a hard time just bursting down Jinx when she's got a Shen ult on top of her.
Yeah, still available is a lot of more defensive supports as well. Could throw a Lulu, the Milio banned away, of course. That's a Moby White preferred pick. But a lot of good defensive supports to keep the Jinx alive as long as possible. Shen able to do a lot of work dealing for the Jinx as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Moby's got a 100% win rate this split on that champ. So let's get it out of here. I do like for taking away some of the safer champions because they just don't want Pizza to be able to be neutralized. They want him to be able to just shove it in their face.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I doubt that this Shen would end up in the top lane. It feels like just kind of a waste of what Pizza brings to this team.
Yeah, I've seen him do it before, but it's definitely not a prio. He's obviously going to prio his stronger picks. You know, he plays all the aggressive tops. He's just kind of, and he is versatile. I mean, he can play the Shens, he can play the Orns. It's just not what you want him in this series.
Yeah, and I would say that these bans kind of speak to that. They're getting rid of Ornn and Gnar, two rather neutralizing picks rather than super strong picks. They're just ones that are hard to take advantage of by most of the more aggressive champions in the game. They can just do a lot of safe farming, safe wave clear. Renata Glass, I like that, actually, into the Nocturne, Aurora, and Senna. That's a very dive-forward comp, and Renata really likes it when people are coming into her.
Yeah, and I will say these comps so far have completely just matched the identity these teams have had overall this split. Miami has gone the more scaling, safer options outside of top lane where they tend to just let him ball out a bit. But on the other side, On the other side, QLG has been just this super aggressive team that wants to fight you on every single objective, every single roam. So they want to make that fight.
Responding with the Karma, that's pretty smart. Renata does prefer to be in a melee lane. It's usually rather bold to blind pick it, as some people in chat are pointing out. But it does offer a lot to the team. Karma, not the best pairing with Senna I've ever seen, but does play very well with the Nocturne and the Aurora and the now locked in Urgot, who really appreciates having a little extra move speed available to him.
Yeah, I think it is a good pickup. Urgot's not the worst blind either. They got rid of some of the stronger threats that they like to pick into this matchup. I think Scion is a great neutralizer. I have seen Pizza play it, and it is fairly good. It's just unusual. I thought he'd go a more aggressive pick, but it does make a lot of sense
Yeah.
for their scaly late game comp that's got really disgusting front to back.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a top lane player myself, whenever I see Urgot, my first thought is I just want to lock in like Scion or Dr. Mundo and just not really interact with him. He's a very irritating laner to play up against. And Scion can just kind of, once he has an item and a half, he just kind of ignores Urgot, really. That's a pretty ideal place to be. Urgot really likes to get a bunch of kills, get snowballing, get to that level 9 power spike as fast as possible. But we will see how that lane matchup ends up turning out. It is going to be a lot of damage onto this Jinx's back for Miami Vice, while there's a few, I would say, myriad threats on QLG Academy here.
That is very true. They really need this Jinx to do well. I mean, if she gets smoked, they're going to be in a bit of trouble because they just don't have a lot of damage in this comp. However, the specialty of this bot lane has been just neutralizing lanes and getting to the late game. While they're against Downfall, though, one of the most aggressive bot lanes in the league generally, I think there is room to punish, but again, it's a Senna, not super high threat in the early game. At most, I think Jinx is probably going to miss some minions, especially with how stable they are as a team. The real look for me is going to probably be this top lane matchup. The question is, can Pizza neutralize this lane into an Urgot? Personally, I think he can do it, and I think he can do it extremely well. So, I think personally, I'm gonna have to give this one to Miami Vice.
Yeah, I think they've just responded really well to the identity of the QLG draft. We've mentioned it already. Jinx needs to stay up in a fight, and she has a lot of tools to do that. She's got a Scion peeling for her. She's got a Shen ultimate. She's got a Renata Glass with the bailout and the hostile takeover for even more peel. She's got the Ahri who can charm people away. There's a whole lot that QLG has to fight through just to get a chance at the Jinx, and then plus they've got to take down her health bar twice. A big Shen shield. Unless one lane really gets ahead on the side of QLG Academy, I think it's going to be a rather uphill battle for them. And I don't necessarily love the Senna Karma into the Jinx Renata. There's some kind of, like, Senna would really prefer to be into a melee support. Renata would also really prefer to be into a melee support. So it's just kind of a weird set of 4 champions to be occupying the bot lane altogether.
Yeah, it is a pretty funky bot lane. However, I do like how much the drafts themselves completely speak to the way these teams like to win. Generally, in these IBSG teams, it's pretty stock standard, front to back comps. There's nothing ever unusual. They tend to not have a lot of identity in their drafts outside of having 1 or 2 one tricks. But these two teams, they have found their niche and they have stuck to it fairly religiously this split. QLG, knowing that their strength has been their laning, it has been their early game skirmishing, and their comps reflect that. They're going the Aurora mid, they have the Urgot top with the Nocturne. There's so much early game presence and power here, which is exactly what they excel at. And Miami is also looking at that and saying, well, we're just going to play what we excel at, which is just playing calm, controlled games, not making too many major mistakes, and winning the late game. And because of that, I think it's going to be a great match. just because these teams are so set in their styles.
Absolutely. And we were talking about this a little bit before the draft began. Miami Vice went almost undefeated, dropped one game to this team, QLG Academy, before a couple of roster swaps were made. So this is, I believe, the first time that these two rosters of 5, as they are, will be headed up against each other.
It's the first time as 5-mans on the stage they've gone against each other. However, these players have been playing low elo comp for a very long time. Most of these players have either played on teams together or have faced each other many times. I mean, last split, Pizza, Moby, and Razors are defending champions, and 2 of them are on one team, 1 is on the other. You know, Buckby just faced Razors this week over in, I believe it was Titan. And currently, Razors and Moby are playing on a team together in Titan. So there's just so much intermingling of players. It's really cool. We get to see this kind of matchup between people who have historically been great friends. I think it's going to be great for banter, and it just makes the games more interesting to me.
And we've got a long series ahead of us, but step 1 is game 1, and we'll be bringing that to you right after a break.
All right. All right, guys. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and get into game here. My caster buddy has disappeared from existence, so we're just gonna run it as is.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I don't think we're gonna get anything too spicy on this level 1. Neither team has great level 1 engage, and I don't think either team really wants a super volatile level 1. It's just there's no clear easy win, so why coin flip the game on level 1? So we're just getting the standard 5-point. We're just gonna stare at each other in the bot lane. But I don't think we're getting much spicier than that, unless Nocturne gets a little spicy with the ward, but I don't think he will be.
No, I don't expect anything to go too crazy on this level 1. Both teams want to get off to a good early game start, and probably not worth risking just absolutely flipping game 1 on a level 1 play.
Yeah, I mean it would certainly be a funny way to start the series, but not one I expect from these two teams. They're fairly disciplined. But here's the real question. Who's gonna int first? I feel like that's my favorite question to ask when we're starting a series.
Who's going to int first? It's not necessarily an int. It could just be a good play to get first blood.
Oh,
That
I
said-
wasn't talking about who's dying first, okay? That's different from inting first.
Okay,
It's IBSG. Everybody's gonna int at some point. It's just perspective. How much higher elo you're looking at, because they've already inted from high elo perspective. All right, but someone's gonna do something dubious.
I think at some point Senna will overstep. That's my thought.
I think.
Could be right now. No, they're not
I think the
gonna do
first moment is gonna come out of top lane. I just have a feeling Scion's gonna get a solo kill. I mean, we'll see. It's a pretty good. That's a massive wave we're stacking in the top lane here. Pizza has definitely been zoned off quite a bit.
That's that ranged versus melee difference, but he's able to clear out a lot of it with that Soul Furnace pop.
Yeah, since it wasn't since the freeze broke, he was able to get basically all of those minions. So they're still about even overall.
Typhoon just farming up the jungle. Nothing too crazy. Both junglers pathing down towards bot lane, and that does make sense. The bot lane is probably the most important one in this game. Both AD carries definitely want to be able to take control, get ahead, farm up.
Yeah, and we're looking at both junglers that want to power farm to level 6. They're not going to do much before that. So for now, the question is, are the laners going to get too spicy? I mean, we got some ward warfare, but other than that, it's just going to be a little bullying in the top lane, trying to keep Pizza off these waves. And okay, that's a good trade onto Razors. He does get a decent chunk back, but it's still favoring.
Aurora does get that little bit of extra healing when she does trigger her passive, though, so she will heal up just a little bit. Ahri does have that Essence Theft, though, to also keep her a little bit healthy. I don't imagine that either of these laners will necessarily be killing each other without a really major misstep on one of their ends.
Yep. Buckbee versus Razors. I've watched this matchup a dozen times. They're both great players. They've got different strengths, but it's not one where I feel like I think Razor's the better laner, but not by enough that it's going to be too crazy of a laning phase. And that's kind of the name of the game. It feels like, a lot of these lanes, one player is better, but the gap isn't big enough, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're just going to smoke them. And
that's kind of the story the CS is telling so far. The biggest lead is in bot lane, but that's because Jinx has not recalled and Senna has. So Downfall's coming back with an item and needs to grab a couple of waves with Jinx back in base.
Yeah, I mean,
Hell
but
may be
even
a little
then,
greedy here.
yeah, he gets greedy.
Great
That's a
flash
good game.
taunt. Still have the Decimating Smash available, waiting.
Where's the
There's
flash?
the flash.
He's gonna...
It's the slow, and Decimating Smash slams down. First blood over to Pizza Pasta Mafia. A little extra health in that Soul Furnace as well.
I did call that first blood was going to be top lane, and I did call it was going to be Scion. Now, I may have said it was a Scion solo kill, but I think that's pretty dang close.
Yeah, top lane, this is definitely not a matchup where you would necessarily expect for, the jungle to come like, don't worry, Scion, I'm going to bail you out. you're gonna get a big lead on this Urgot. But it is a good feeling to just have a kill in your pocket. As Scion here, you get to invest into armor just that little bit faster. Getting to those, I can never remember the new name of the boots. The armor boots is such a valuable item against Urgot because so much of his damage is tied up in his auto attacks through that Purge ability, his W.
Yeah. So here's a real question. All right, we've got Wolven Die here. Last week, Moby was up against Wolven Alchemist. Does this mean Wolven Die, if he wins today, will be confirmed the better wolf?
That is a valid question.
Because Alchemist lost. Wolven Alchemist lost this bot lane. If Wolven Die, actually, no,
we already saw that the better wolf.
Yeah, we already saw it. What am I saying? Yeah, the better wolf already won. So
better wolf made finals.
You're
Sorry,
right, the
Wolf
better
Alchemist,
wolf made
that's just
finals.
how it is.
Yeah, you're cooked.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
No, we certainly make the rules, but they're just rules. That's just how it works.
Bully doesn't want to make these rules. I can tell you that right now.
It's okay. He can't stop us. We're on the stream and he's not. They can go snitch.
Checking in on the state of the game. It's only about a 300 gold lead, so basically just the gold value of that kill is the difference between these two teams right now. Farm staying very even. Slight CS lead for Urgot and a slight CS lead for Jinx that pretty much balances it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically how both teams expect this early game to go, though. You have fairly calm lanes. Neither of them have crazy kill threat anywhere, really, until level 6. The only abnormal thing was that Rapid Sammy found that disgusting gank angle top.
Oh, this is a good gank for a good angle for Pizza.
Ooh, but he's gonna take so many tower shots. Pizza may just have the kill here. He's still holding his ult. Hell is getting really low.
Yeah, unstoppable onslaught finishes it off. Just not able to get him low enough for that Fear Beyond Death execute. It's a big execute, but the really good timing on that decimating smash through the buffer, you're still stunned up after that buffer ends. And so Hell takes a couple of extra tower shots that he probably was not calculating for. Ooh, we got an all-in mid lane. Paranoia flies in, but Spirit Rush is still available, able to just dash away.
They do manage to get the flash out too, though, which I think is fairly critical. If he got out just with Spirit Rush, who cares? The fact that you get the flash, though, means you did get some decent value out of that.
Ooh. And Ari actually pings the Ignite, but Aurora didn't use it, so she might be mistaken thinking that Aurora burned the Ignite.
That is a very worrying mistake to make. You really don't want to mess up on those angles. But Razor's, he steps up too far. He may just die.
Has to flash away.
Yeah, he just way oversteps, disrespecting Sammy, and has to burn his flash for it.
Sammy Shen is just so good. He interrupts the dash this time. Excellent. Timing by Pizza there. And that Soul Furnace does so much damage if you're able to pop the shield.
Yeah, I mean, this just shows Pizza, even on the Scion, it just remains a force to be reckoned with. This guy is so good at laning phase. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of disappointing that Pizza doesn't have the Pizza Scion skin, no?
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed by that. Moby, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and buy him a new skin.
We need to have a remake. Get him on the Pizza Scion skin. Like,
yeah, this
is
disgusting. I'm gonna have some words with Moby after this. This is fucked up. Anyway, Wolven Die is doing pretty good. He's got a decent little CS lead in the bot lane. It's nothing major, but it's still enough to be noticed. A good wave and a half.
Senna, not really the strongest champion. She really wants to get to one item, and she really does appreciate, as I was saying in draft, having a melee to just drain souls off of as much as possible. Renata's not really going to present a great target for that. She's going to be playing pretty far back, and that would expose Senna to kind of a lot of return damage if she's just going to walk up and go for the double auto attack to pull a soul out of either the Jinx or the Renata. But we do have a play going on bot lane, it looks like, as the Stand United was burned, but nothing is going to materialize out of it. Maybe just a bit of an all-in turning back from Downfall.
Well, Downfall did lose his flash, it looks like, in that encounter. So he may have been in some hot water that we just didn't quite catch. Typhoon does...
Only a flash and a stand united burned, so no harm, no foul. The game
Typhoon
goes on.
does have his all-important Nocturne ult up. It looks like Vice wants to just take control of his river, set up for Drake, which is spawning now. But I think Quantum's gonna fight this, honestly.
Yeah, I would say that they should. They have the much stronger early game team, minus maybe the Senna, but the Nocturne, the Aurora, as Nocturne goes flying into Ari here, actually. She's so close to her tower that there's just not enough room to follow up.
Yeah,
In the meantime, Dragon secured by Vice.
looks like they might still be trying to find a fight here, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
No
I think that was
paranoia available.
That was a
Actually,
bit of a
there's a solo kill here in the mid lane.
Huh?
Bit of a
Okay,
little
that was
between
unexpected.
worlds. Interesting. We got a
Very
replay
nice.
here.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
see
gonna
what
have to see
happens. Oh, Razor just
Vision?
catches it with a really nice combo.
Oh, he just walks him down.
Yep. Between worlds, twofold hex and the weirding. Rip it all together all at once, and the electrocute finishes off the Ari.
Yep, I mean, that's going to be good for Quantum. They're not happy they gave that Drake, but I guess they get the kill out of it in the end, even if it wasn't the greatest Nocturne.
Ooh, buffers the disdain to not get knocked up. Still gets stunned, but able to dash away.
Hell is going to continue to struggle
Zap
to find
dance.
any kind of advantage in his top lane. Scion has been like the unbreakable wall up there, especially with the little bit of help he's gotten from his jungler.
Yeah, he did go immediately into those plated steel caps, which means that just so much of Urgot's damage in this early game is pretty much nullified. He really needs to get the Echoing Flames leveled up farther before he's going to be much of a threat to this Scion again.
Yeah, I mean, Sion's just so accelerated that it almost doesn't matter if Sion's playing these trades very well because he's so strong. Like, he gets the big Q off, he's just gonna walk him down. He might actually...
This is
be able
probably
to
another
just
solo
yeah.
kill.
He's still got ult up.
Hell does still have Flash, doesn't want to commit the unstoppable onslaught when the Flash is available.
It does make sense. There's no point in just overforcing and risking your entire lead there. Might as well just force him to back, get your plate, you get a good back timer. Typhoon is here though.
Quest done.
With Razors, we're gonna look for something here. I think they do, in fact, have the damage to make this happen.
Oh, Shenalt, the Stand United comes in. Fear Beyond Death is not going to finish it off.
It comes in. It looks like they're just gonna
that's a
turn it
great
around.
Knock-up.
A huge stun onto Typhoon, but Hell is here with a throwback. Sion's forced to ult out, but that's just such a good play for them. Quantum wants nothing to do with this top lane, man. They're getting absolutely just outplayed.
That's a great turn. That was a lot invested by QLG, and they just aren't able to get anything out of it. And now Hell's going to take a few more tower shots. Rapid Sammy, though, playing a little bit on the edge here, is probably going to need to back off here before long. One more combo from Razor will probably finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing really aggressive. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence, but if he's flying too close to the
Razors goes
sun,
deep.
I think he might... Wait a minute, Razors goes down! Pizza's
And
got the
Hell's
ult,
gonna
and
go
Hell's
down
dead
as well.
too! Ari's gonna get the
Spirit
cleanup
Rush
here.
to finish him off.
Oh my god!
It's
QLG!
a disaster in the top lane. Pizza's just absorbed so much pressure in that fight. They're just not able to finish him off. He is so tanky in this early game, and there's no percent health damage outside of Aurora's little execute with her 3-hit passive, and that's just not enough to get through a Scion. We're going to see a counterplay here in the bot lane. Typhoon goes flying in. Does have the bailout. Is there going to be a takedown in time? Yes, there is. Flash away. Downfall's going to go down to this turret. That's three. In a 2v3, they're able to turn 3 for 1 under the tower. Great use of the bailout. Buys a lot of time. Jinx picks up 2 and Renata picks up 1.
And this is looking absolutely brutal for QLG. You're down 3,000 gold into the scaling comp. I'm gonna be honest. What do you think's their easiest path back into this game? What do you think's the game plan?
I think the struggle is they've played the comp generally the way that it needs to be played, but it just hasn't worked out for them. I think they need to start sending maybe 4-mans towards the bot lane. I think it's time to stop attacking the Scion. He's already sitting on a Heartsteel. You just kind of have to leave him alone. Let Urgot take his licks. get Aurora down to the bot lane, try and make a dive work with all 4 members of the bot side. You can probably finish off the Jinx and the Renata like that, grab that shutdown, and maybe snowball it into a dragon.
See, that's what I like to hear, okay? Pure confidence coming out of the other side. Now, I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna have this wild fan club in the chat, Bully's gonna have to start paying me instead of locking me in his damn basement. Alright, I don't know what all these people want, but they gotta get out of here. We gotta get back to this game here. And
Wait, we're getting paid?
oh, no, I'm locked in the basement. He gave me a
Oh,
McChicken
okay.
3 weeks ago though, so that was something.
Ooh, McChicken, I can go for one of those.
I just want to know, Pizza is up almost 2,000 gold in this top lane. This is just a disgusting lead up there when you're playing into a losing matchup.
I disagree with this being a losing matchup. I think if Sion gets any help at all, this is honestly one of the freest matchups of all time, in my personal opinion. But having 3
Alright.
kills and a bunch of plates in your back pocket will certainly help you build up a gold lead over your opponent. 20
Well,
CS
free-
helps too.
Free and losing are two different things, alright? It is free because with a little help, he can just ignore Urgot. But Urgot should be ahead in the lane, generally. Even if it's not a major lead, they should be up like some CS. You know, they should have the pressure in lane, not this.
Disdain gets the interrupt on that decimating smash. That's a Heartsteel proc for Pizza, though. Turns on that Soul Furnace, and that's a huge shield at this point in the
Oh
game
my
already, and
God.
a big chunk of damage on the return. Hell is just not getting the right end of these trades.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so hard because he can't even just relax and wait for his team to get ahead because his team's not doing the greatest. It looks like Rapid Sammy is going to look for a fight. There's Renata ult, but it's not going to get anyone. Just pushes them off Drake, gives them control of this river. And Razor's kind of on the flank, trying to find a way in.
That's a root onto Senna. Follow-up, though. Red team isn't going to be able to secure it. That's the second dragon for Miami Vice. Ooh, as a solo kill comes through in the top lane again.
Yeah,
Sion
Hell
has just
killed
been
himself.
absolute menace.
Hell killed himself to stop Sion's teleport there, which I think is pretty big. I think if Sion gets that teleport off with his ult up into this fight, it would have been a disaster for QLG.
I mean, it still ends up being a pretty positive play for Vice
Oh.
here. And the play continues. Dawning Shadow comes across. Damage onto 2, shields onto the rest of the team. Typhoon is the only one looking really healthy here, though, and he is slowly losing all that health. Stand United comes through onto Beru. No chase down left available. Spirit Rush is out of charges.
I mean, that just
He
felt
might find himself in
so...
trouble here. He's walking up into all 3. Gets the flash taunt. Spirit's Refuge to dodge those auto attacks.
Hold on.
Root comes through. No follow-up available. Sammy's got to run. Charm onto Typhoon. A little bit of extra healing from the Umbra Blades.
Downfall's free
Piercing
firing.
Shadow. A couple of auto attacks from Downfall is going to finish off Rapid Sammy, and the play is over. Both sides need to disengage.
I mean, this whole play feels just kind of disrespectful. You know, we get the disengage, and honestly, the fight wasn't really in our favor when they disengage. It was kind of skewed in their direction, even if it was relatively close. But when we see 4 of them are sitting under their tower, and we're just gonna invade the Gromp 3 feet away, after our ADC has backed off and is I don't see the angle. Somehow it works out because they go 1 for 1, and one of them is a shutdown, but that play just feels so cocky to me.
Yeah, I would say almost the extended play works out pretty well for QLG. The immediate play ends up just being a kill and the Ocean Dragon right in the pocket of Miami Vice. But through that extended play, they get the bot lane tower, they get a couple of kills. They don't quite get that shutdown of the Jinx that I think is going to be really pivotal for them, but a couple of good kills just to kind of bring things back together.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good shutdown, and they get it into the hands of Downfall, who is exactly the player they need to get some gold on to pull this game back. You know, I mean, you give some gold to top, that's fine, it'll stabilize his lane, but we need to make some leads. Oh my god, Pizza's just
Oh,
walking
hell.
down.
Hell is in hell right now. There's just no out trading this Scion right now.
Oh, it's just walk him down time.
Typhoon headed back onto the map. I don't know if there's a combination of 3 champions that can take down Scion before he's able to get back to his tower at this point. He is a snowball rolling downhill. Stand United comes out, so does the Spirit Rush. Super Mega Death Rocket takes down Yukio.
Yeah, and I mean, it just feels like Miami owns the entire map right now.
Oh, Sammy's gonna get caught in the jungle here, though.
Feels like
Able to
he's too
Shadow Dash
far, but
away.
we're chasing too.
Did I just see a
Narnia.
Mikhail's come out of him right there? Very nice.
I just want to know, somehow, we got a solo kill in the top lane.
Oh, it was QSS.
What happened?
Oh,
He just
playing a
got
little
cooked.
aggressive.
Looks
Oh,
like he over pushed and got thrown into
oh.
tower. Oh, the
He's
shield.
not gonna get there. Ooh. We do have an oops in the all chat out of Sion.
I mean,
Must have been a
good
bit of
for
a
them.
whoopsie, but hey, Urgot's happy to collect the big
Yeah.
shutdown.
He could definitely use it right now. That's for sure.
Finally does have that black cleaver online, couple of extra items, but you're staring down a Heartsteel and an unending despair, which is probably what Hell is feeling every time he takes a trade right about now.
For sure. I've noticed a big thing from QLG is they find plays that start off fairly decent, but then they're just over-committing to these plays. They're over-chasing, and against most teams that's going to work, but Miami's just so disciplined that they're going to punish it.
Good little poke there onto Rapid Sammy again, getting found out in the jungle, but just not enough damage to finish off a Shen right now. You have probably a little bit of objective setup here. Wants to fight for this fourth dragon of the game. Currently stands at 2-1 in favor of Vice. As we see Sion maybe going up here to give Urgot a little bit more of the business.
I mean, Sion he just wants to throw hands. He doesn't care anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm up 1k. All right, I see you have a tower that's standing. I just want to walk at it, brother. Can you just get out the way?
Yeah, that is one thing that Urgot does have in spades. He is able to clear a wave pretty quickly. Makes it very difficult to take a tower on him as long as he's just sitting under it.
Yeah, I mean, the game has gotten quite a bit closer gold-wise, but it still feels really hard for Quantum because we're getting closer to these breakpoints on these champions. Jinx is getting close to her third item, which Senna is too, granted, but I don't know how we're going to deal with this Sion in team fights. Our biggest strength is that Miami Vice is relatively low damage, and if you can get rid of this Jinx, you can still just win.
Yeah, the Senna is on an important set of core items, I would say. Having that Black Cleaver and Static Shiv finally finished up is very important. Hostile Takeover comes across, only catches onto Urgot, donning Shadow across the team. Not a lot of damage, not a lot of shield between worlds. Big execute from the Fear Beyond Death, Fear onto 2. Bailout's not going to bail out anybody today. Moby White goes down and the chase is on. They are hunting for Biru, but he is Ari. He's going to be able to escape. That's a good fight in the pocket of QLG, though.
And
Pizza is absolutely hunting for Hell here.
He just wants to throw the hand. And QLG is just going to out-team fight Miami Vice.
Just better positioning. They were in the right place, I would say. And it felt like Miami Vice was maybe a little bit on the back foot there.
They had great positioning. The Nocturne ult completely blinded everyone. We managed to get the steal off, which is absolutely massive. And then from that point, it's like, okay, you guys are dealing damage, but you're kind of struggling to kill our Urgot, and Senna's free firing.
Razors does do a pretty decent chunk of damage to Pizza, but Pizza also has about 5,000 health at this point in the game, so it'll take a few rotations to actually get through him. See if Razors might be able to get this interrupt.
Yeah, Razors just wants to bully his old top laner. He said, "Man, we were supposed to play together this split. Now I gotta give you the work."
It is a 3-level lead for that Sion though over the Aurora. Makes it a little bit difficult to trade in. But Aurora is going to secure that push.
Yeah, I'm a little
on the map
worried.
right now is that Baron. Neither team really making an aggressive look towards it right now, though.
I mean, it is fairly risky to start this Baron for both teams. I mean, especially for Vice, because QLG wants to be going into you for fights anyway, but I don't see anyone just ripping this Baron without there being a fight beforehand that breaks out a couple people.
Got a little bit of MR in the back pocket of Scion here now. It looks like he's building towards a Hollow Radiance to try and deal with Aurora in that side lane, should she come to respond. Makes sense. I would have liked to see maybe a Kaenic Rooker out of him at this point in the game. Seems a little late to be getting a Bomby Cinder item, in my personal opinion, but... I mean, the Senna is making an impact on the map. I believe she's the one who picked up the shutdown onto Jinx, and that's got to feel pretty good for QLG here. As Biru might be caught out in a dangerous situation, does have the Spirit Rush and is under a tower. Able to use that Scryer's Bloom to suss out what's going on in his red jungle.
It is a little late for Bomby Cinder, but it's not as bad as the 23-minute tier we saw last week. So I'm gonna be honest, I'll take it at this point.
We'll take what we can get. I remember that. I remember being very tilted.
Yeah, that was a little painful, but it's alright, because I feel like we have a banger. Both of these teams do know what they want to do, and QLG, even though they had some issues in the early game, they were not holding back.
Really good trade onto Razors from Biru there.
Yeah, that's a good trade by Buckby. I know he name changed, but that's too bad. I'm still gonna call him Buckby. He's got to deal with it.
That is fair. I did not realize that was Buckby.
Yeah. But once I realized it, now I don't even read the names because I know the players.
Things have sort of mellowed out since that last dragon fight. I would imagine we're not going to see much action right up until that next dragon spawns. Next team that grabs one will be on that soul point.
So here's a real question, and this one's coming from chat, but I don't feel like answering it myself, so I'm just gonna talk about it and throw it at you, so that way you have to deal with it. And the question is, can you explain the QSS on Shen?
He doesn't want to get Urgot ulted. I don't know if that actually works that way. Either that, or it cleanses Nocturne Fear, I guess?
Yeah, that's, does it cleanse Nocturne Fear?
Can you QSS
I don't remember if it does or not.
Urgot?
If it does, then that's definitely the reasoning.
Yes, you can Quicksilver Sash to escape Urgot's ult. That's why they did it. There you go. I'm decreeing it.
You can use Quicksilver Sash to remove Nocturne's ult.
Oh, that too. I didn't realize that either.
That's probably why he bought it. So
Rapid Sammy is like 3 dimensions ahead of me on Shen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play that champion.
Speaking of, let's get Shadow Dash onto the Nocturne here. Dawning Shadow comes across, only shielding Typhoon, but it will be enough to dissuade any further aggression from Vice. As Razor is just knocking down this turret in the top lane.
If you'll notice, that fight actually shows us some of the weaknesses of Miami Vice's comp. Because Ari, like the whole team, besides for Jinx, are all firing on this Nocturne. And he's just not going down. Because without Jinx, her damage is pretty low. I mean, it's going to get harder later on to deal with like this Urgot. Because it's just like, if Jinx ever dies to this Nocturne Aurora dive, who is killing Urgot? Outside of, I guess, Scion, because he's him right now, but... You know, if Urgot gets a bit more gold in him.
Rapid Sammy rooted up by Karma here. Shirelius comes out. I don't know if there's going to be quite enough chase down here. As the Mantra shield will come out and everyone will scatter to the wind. Yeah, I think the thing with Vice's comp is they really want to be able to counter-engage. But we do have a play going forward here. Another Shadow Dash lands onto Razors. United comes out.
They just don't have the damage to blow him up.
But not enough auto attacks are coming out of Wolvendie right now. Very concerned about this Aurora on the flank. Flashes in. Lands the combo, not quite enough.
But Jinx is out of the fight.
Target is on, but not quite enough damage lands onto her. Downfall finds himself in a bit of trouble here, though. Mind, that Mantra Defiance is doing absolute work. The Pizza Pasta Mafia is going to be very difficult to take down. Does have a lot of healing from that Unending Despair and big shields from his Soul Furnace. Stain does not pull him back in. He will get under tower and escape the fight. Shadow Dash goes in again.
He doesn't quite reach it.
Always bet on Rapid Sammy to fight.
Yeah, and I mean, Very C, QLG found exactly what we wanted them to look.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
wait
a
a minute.
flash taunt.
Raffy gets the flash. Flash out of Yukio. He's on the run.
Oh,
But
good
C9
handshake.
gets the... Oh.
Moby White gets a nice handshake,
back.
pulls Karma back in and says, "Hello, I'd like to introduce you to my backline." Jinx is handed a kill.
Oh, man. That is absolutely brutal. But very see the strength of these comps. Miami Vice wants to, play these fights where they're able to walk it back. They're able to keep Jinx firing, but you're playing into a pick comp. So if you do not keep this Aurora out, she is just going to one-shot Jinx. Jinx doesn't quite die to the one-shot, but it really doesn't matter because she's out of a fight. And the second she's out, you have no real damage. Sammy's looking on to Razors, and he's just gonna walk out. But especially since in that fight, they caught Razors. They didn't have the damage to blow him up.
Yeah, I think Jinx is playing really timid for someone who has a Shannon, a bailout, a hostile takeover, a lot of stuff available to keep this Jinx safe, and just kind of isn't able to put out the damage that she needs to. The comp is riding on Jinx's ability to put out these auto attacks onto these frontline targets, onto these flanking targets. But also, we see the power of the Aurora and the Nocturne in this comp. Their backline access is really hard to escape from, and Aurora is able to play on all these weird angles thanks to the Between Worlds and her ability to go invisible, jump over walls. You never know where she's going to come from, and that makes the execution in these team fights much more difficult for Vice.
And I mean, it's still hard to kill this Scion, but when you have mobile champs and decent amounts of stuns, you kind of don't need to. Just kill his team. I mean, we saw it in that last fight where Downfall literally just walks past him to kill Ahri. You do not want to be in a position where Senna's allowed to walk past your front line.
No, there was just not enough threat onto the backline. What they really need to do on the side of Miami Vice is they need to be able to keep eyes on all 5 members of the enemy team of QLG and be able to keep them in front of Jinx so that you can actually use that hostile takeover to create space for Jinx. You can use the Stand United to make sure that no one's getting way too deep and threatening your big DPS threat.
Yeah, I agree. If they're able to just get a completely standard front to back fight, it still favors them so heavily. They just have to respect this flank.
And we're waiting on this soul, this threatened for soul, I should say, from Miami Vice here. If QLG is able to deny, it would be a double soul point. We're about 1,000 gold difference. It's a very tight game. The scaling is pretty much online for both sides. It's coming down to execution in these fights from now on.
Yeah, and it is terrifying. This map is so dark overall. I mean, we have like a couple words we just got down. But when the map is like as dark as it is, it's so hard to stop teams from flanking.
Spell shield out on that Nocturne. Should be down for a few more seconds. Rapid Sammy's gonna get rooted up. He's kind of in no man's land here. Takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean,
He's gonna walk up, turn on that Soul Furnace, lands a knock up onto Yukio.
Razors has the flank.
Nice chunk in return. Senna actually does a lot of damage to tanks as long as she's able to farm those souls. His zap onto the Senna. Downfall takes a bit of a chunk here.
Razors is gonna push out this bot wave, and I mean, he's just got so much threat on his flank. They have to respect him.
Yeah, they need to know where Razors is at all times, or he is an absolute demon threat to one-shot this. That's a great handshake! An absolutely one-shot for Razors. Will not be a participant in this fight. Unstoppable Onslaught comes in, catches both members of the backline. Hostile Takeover catches the Karma and the Urgot. I think I will be hostilely taking over this river, taking over this dragon, and claiming an ace for nothing.
And Razors just overplays that flank. He steps up too far and gets punished by Moby White. And that was a vision control situation. He did not know where Moby White was when he walked up. And that just gets... He dies. His team starts panicking. Pizza sees the angle. He ults in. And Senna's stuck taking that Scion ult. It's just over from there.
Yeah, once that backline threat is neutralized, Jinx can just run rampant all over this fight. The bailout is at no threat of being popped, so she just gets a lot of extra move speed, a lot of extra attack speed on top of all the movement speed and attack speed she already gets from her passive. She's already excited from 3 kills dropping that had her as an assist all over it.
Yeah, and I mean this is gonna be really hard to play out now for QLG. I mean, Sion now has an Ocean Soul on his forehead, so the second you disengage, he's full health instantly. Same with this Shen. It's getting harder and harder to punish the side of Miami Vice as their comp continues coming online.
The one thing that you can say, though, is that at least it's an Ocean Soul that doesn't really prevent the one-shot threat that you have in your Aurora here. As we see right there, she does a lot of damage to that Ahri, just doesn't quite land all of her spells. And Ahri will heal up just that little bit. Dawning Shadow comes across, but not nearly enough damage available.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not quite enough, but... I mean, this dive threat is still so potent. The biggest thing, though, is Typhoon just hasn't found the opportunity to have a ton of value in this game. And I think that is the big issue. You have this Nocturne, you have his dive threat, but they're not syncing up this Nocturne with Aurora, and that's why these people that Aurora is getting onto aren't dying.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking about in draft, with the usual pairing being something like an Orianna. It's something that just plays immediately off of that Nocturne. We haven't really seen the Aurora drop the Between Worlds while Nocturne is dropping the Paranoia and just diving right onto somebody, immediately removing him from the fight. It's been more of a disjointed effort from the mid and jungle here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going onto different targets sometimes.
Great Spirit Rush,
Ooh.
grabs the Charm. Downfall is forced to run immediately. As the lights go out, there cannot be a chase under this inhibitor tower.
He does survive it, but Typhoon is in trouble.
Ooh, got a bit of a 1v1 here in the top lane as well. Hostile takeover just not quite going to catch Typhoon. It's a slow-moving projectile, but Shadow Dash will.
Razors isn't backing.
QSS and run. Bit of a heal from
Downfall's in trouble.
Downfall picked up by Biru.
And Razors backs too late.
Nocturne. This might be the game.
I think it is. I think Razors, you know, I'm thinking he thought his team had it, they could hold and he could push, but that's just the game. I don't see how they defend this.
Unstoppable Onslaught dealing a big chunk to both towers. There goes the 1, there goes the 2. And now Wolven Die has the bailout. He's looking for number 3, the Nexus plus 50 gold. He is going to give over the 1,000 gold shutdown, but it won't matter. Biru finishes off the Nexus. That's game 1 for Miami Vice.
And it wasn't clean. QLG found some great angles to make this game competitive when, from this early game, it really shouldn't have been.
Absolutely. I think if you disregard kind of the top lane fiasco, because that went poorly for a number of reasons. But if you take that, like, have it in isolation, I think the other 4 did pretty well. They played the comp the way they needed to. They played aggressively. They forced their dives. They made good plays. It's just a matter of gotta clean up that top lane a little bit and need to maybe play a little more connected in that mid game.
I mean, I think Hell did come back, and he was doing a lot in the late game. If he hadn't fallen behind so far in the early game, I think he would have been a absolute force to reckon with. The biggest thing for me personally is that this Nocturne just did not find much value with these ults.
Yeah.
I didn't see a single valuable ult from Nocturne in the early game. It just felt like Rapid Sammy just completely had him checked.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Nocturne is, or Shen, I should say, is sort of like the anti-Nocturne. With that QSS, he's able to immediately remove the darkness and then ult to whoever is actually being targeted by Nocturne and pretty much deny the ultimate in general. Makes it very hard for Nocturne to actually get that snowball done, and we can see that with the fact that Nocturne only did 8,700 damage the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great showing, but it's also not an easy game to run this Nocturne. It's not like the super standard, oh, I'm Nocturne with Orianna, I'm gonna R into everybody and they're all gonna die. Right? Like, you do have to find picks, and you're playing into Shen Renata. It's just hard to pick into that.
Yeah, exactly. But with that out of the way, that's game 1. We have game 2 draft coming up in just a few minutes here, and we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back. We're just about to hop into draft for game 2 here. We just saw Miami Vice take game 1 in not a dominant fashion, I would say, but maybe the last 5 minutes or so we're feeling pretty good for Miami Vice. Is there any changes that you might like to see out of them in this draft here, Trashy?
From Vice, I want to see Pizza on something more aggressive, man. I know it's hard, but let's convince Quantum to give him his Jax. All right, don't worry, guys. You don't have to ban Jax till phase 2. Trust. We're not gonna just be one it, guys. Trust. All right, but I think Vice kind of played the style they want. Generally, they do similar styles. Maybe repeats on like a more bruiser champion, where he has a bit more damage profile, which would have been helpful in that game. But I don't think they need to change a ton going into game 2. The real question is what Quantum Legion is going to change up.
Absolutely. I think personally, I just want to see a little bit more of a synergistic duo for the mid jungle. It felt like the Nocturne Aurora just never really got things rolling, and it's definitely a more difficult duo to pull off than, say, the Nocturne Oriana, the Nocturne Galio, where it's just you pressed R, now I'm going to press R, and that'll work. But this one, it's more like you pressed R, and now I pressed R again on all these people because they can't see, and yada yada yada. I'd like to see something that just works a little bit better by itself, and definitely something that's going to be able to neutralize Pizza a little bit more out of that top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a team that tends to live and die by its mid jungle. That's been kind of how they played through most of its split, was through mid jungle dominance, and they're just not finding that footing so far in this series. I mean, they found some good team fights, generally because Razors had some disgusting flanks, and Downfall was just free firing. But it's gonna be hard to replicate finding those kind of flanks constantly because you're relying on the other team making mistakes. So I just really want to see a jungler that's able to link up with Razors more, where they can actually push the early game.
Yeah, it definitely felt like Razors was finding really good flanks right up until Moby White started kind of actively hunting him, and he was able to land a few good handshakes right in a row just to kind of reverse those flanks and turn them into actually picks onto Razors that kind of eliminated a bunch of threat onto Jinx, and then they were just able to walk over the fight from there. So hopefully we can see even maybe the support getting involved with a little bit of moving around the map and playing more with the jungler here.
And the first couple times they snagged him, I mean, he managed to survive, but you can see the writing on the wall. If he kept getting snagged like that, eventually they would have the damage to just kill him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see, though, because it's only game 2. There's still a lot of champions left. I don't know if the ban priority is going to shift at all. Typically, I don't see bans change too much from game to game. Maybe a team has a B1 pick that they'd like to have, and that was banned away on red side, but now here they are on blue. Maybe they'd like to take it round 1.
Yeah, personally, I'm not expecting a huge change in draft strategy overall. I mean, Moby is known to be very heavy into his scouting to try and figure out these teams he's up against. He did it last week against TD, taking away a lot of their best champs, taking away a lot of Hoodie's champs to force him off of comfort. But I think he's already found his angle. I'm not expecting a big deviation from that.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna, my train of thought left me. The draft strategy, by and large, doesn't really change. Doesn't need to change until it needs to change because you're just kind of out of champions that fit the profile that you're looking for. And if Miami Vice can build sort of another counter-engage comp to deal with another QLG Academy dive comp, we could just be looking at sort of a repeat of game 1. So hopefully there's a bit more of a wrench to throw into the works from one side or the other.
And so far, this is looking exactly as expected. We have a Fizz again.
Rom is new. Rom is the new ban.
They might be looking for an MF angle. It is a good champion of Wolven dies, and Brom's a strong counter to it.
And MF was banned by Vice last game while they were on the red side, but Heimerdinger Jax still going to be taken away from Pizza. Can't imagine he'll be seeing either of those champions this series.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. He's been so dominant whenever he locks in those two champs. I just can't see them being given over.
They will be taking away the Seraphine, but that does mean that they did not ban They banned Misfortune. They left up the Seraphine that they banned last time. There we go.
Vice banning the MF is pretty interesting because, I mean, with taking away a Braum, I kind of felt like that's what they were looking to go into. They might be looking for Downfall's Caitlyn. I know he's very good at that, but even then,
I
I don't know
expect
if
a
you need to
Seraphine
ban.
lock in right here. Yeah.
I could see the Seraphine, yeah. Moby's Seraphine is really good.
Personally, I think Braum is a bait counter. I think Braum has a terrible time into a lane like Ashe Seraphine. But if you're not going to pick the Ashe and the Seraphine, I guess it's fine to take away the Braum.
Yeah, I mean, Braum's good in the team fights against Seraphine, but he just gets absolutely bullied in lane. I mean, it's a really hard lane
There
to play.
is the Mel. That's a pretty standard counter to Seraphine. Is that a big team fight projectile you just threw at me? How would you like to have it back?
Mm-hmm.
See how Miami Vice wants to respond to this Ashe Mel. This could be a Mel support. I did see it in the match history for QLG Academy. Could still flex to mid as well. But definitely Ashe denying that Ashe Seraphine duo.
I have seen them do it before, and yeah, I mean, they said, oh, we can't block it with Braum, I guess we'll just throw it back at you. I like Jarvan. It is a pretty staple pick in IBSG, and Sammy specifically is a demon when it comes to this champion, so I'm pretty happy to see him locking it back in.
I mean, I would call Jarvan a staple pick for a reason. He is very good at locking down immobile carries, and would you look at that, there's a couple of champions with no mobility on the side of QLG right now.
Yep, and you cannot deflect a Jarvan Q.
Can't dodge that.
Ooh.
Zig's going to be locked in. Could be the bot lane. That does play pretty well with the Jarvan. I saw this combo yesterday, and you just drop a Cataclysm on somebody and have a Mega Inferno Bomb over the top.
I am liking the Ziggs. I hate playing against him, which means I love seeing him on my team. I'm sure QLG is not exactly excited about that one.
It's possible that they are. Ziggs is not exactly the most aggressive laner, and definitely doesn't escape very well when he's being permaslowed. Aurelion Sol going to be locked in for the mid lane. That's an interesting blind pick. I hope that wasn't just because QLG thinks that Ziggs is going mid, or maybe they know something that we don't, and maybe they don't play Ziggs 80 carry.
I mean, Aurelion Sol is really strong comfort for Razors. It's one of his most comfortable champs outside of, you know, like his Ahri. But the real question for me is, it's a little disrespectful to Buckby to be like, hey, we had the Mel flex, we don't even need it. We don't even need the flex. I'm just gonna slam the Ace-Hole, and if you're not
Pick
playing
whatever.
Ziggs, I guess
Yeah.
you can counterpick me. But I do think it's more likely to be Ziggs mid, but I'm not sure.
It seems like that's what QLG Academy thinks. They're banning away the Caitlyn when this very easily could be a Ziggs bot lane. Hopefully it's not a wasted ban on their side. Gnar, again, going to be taken away by Miami Vice against Hell here. Probably going to take away the Ornn again as well. Just try and knock out a few of those more neutralizing picks once again. To see the Smolder taken away. A couple of 80 carry bans, they really do not think that this Ziggs is going bot.
I guess
Glad
not.
actually going to be denied this time. Ornn still left available. And no Braum to interfere with the call of the Forge God.
To be fair, Buckby is a big Ziggs player. I do know that. But, I mean, it still could be a flex, and I do doubt it. I don't think it'll be a flex. I think we're probably going to keep it mid, but still, it's just like, that's some confidence. I would have at least made them question where the Mel was going, since they don't have their full bot lane picked yet.
Sure, and then Xin Zhao locked in. Another one of the top junglers right now. I think Wukong is kind of the last one of the big four right now. But Jarvan, Xin Zhao, that's as classic as a 80 bruiser jungle matchup as you're going to find these days. Sivir being hovered, Sivir locked in. It will be the Ziggs mid and a Sivir 80 carry to go alongside that Seraphine. We'll see what they round out with for Pizza up in that top lane.
These are some glass cannon teams, man. Jeez. I mean, these teams are just going to explode. We're going to need some chunky top laners. I think Pizza's probably going to go more Bruiser style, while QLG goes more towards the classic tank. And yeah, we're going to need the Bruiser with Mordekaiser, and we're probably going to look at something like a
Importantly, a Bruiser that's pretty good into tanks. Mordekaiser just does percent health damage because you're standing near him. Obliterate does a big chunk of flat damage if you're able to catch the opponent isolated. Very, very good at disrupting a team fight. Just like, oh, Ash, you're a problem? Come here, let's take a trip to Brazil.
Yeah, and that's likely why he locked it in. He knows QLG needs the tank. They need that survivability because they're really squishy, just like Vice, but Vice has some disgusting long-range threat with this Ziggs, with this Seraphine. They have longer range than like this Ashe does. But still, I feel like in a straight team fight, it should be QLG favored. The question is if you can get to that straight team fight with the amount of poke and the amount of threat that this Miami Vice roster is gonna have on you
I
with Jarvan Mordekaiser.
I do think the front to back is actually very scary out of Miami Vice. If they're able to get that encore down and not have it reflected back into them, which can be a bit of a big ask, but if they are able to get that, or they're able to just do the Jarvan flag and drag Cataclysm the backline and have a Ziggs ult over the top, even after all that, you've still got Sivir, who has 3 melees to auto attack to bounce those ricochets all over the backline. Sorry, 2 melees, I should say. 2 very close range melees who are going to be coming at you. To just
Well, look,
bounce ricochets and wreak havoc all over the backline.
the big thing for me though is that Vice is a lot more glass cannon than QLG is. QLG has a real front line. They have the Xin Zhao with his ultimate that can create a lot of space, so he can actually be that wall to just keep Ziggs from just insta killing him, right? And then you have the Ornn, so they have like a better front line. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to stop Mordekaiser from rocking up and just pressing R on your Xin Zhao, and now you don't have a front line anymore.
Absolutely. Either the Xin Zhao or the Ornn, just denying one of those two from being able to create space just kind of makes the battle lines a little bit harder to establish, or even just taking away the Mel. Suddenly they can't reflect Encore anymore.
Yeah, and Moby has been absolutely devious with his encores this split, so I would not take that threat lightly.
All right, well, it looks like they are getting ready to go into game here. So is there any comp you favor over the other, or do you have a prediction on who's going to take game 2 here?
I think we might disagree because it sounds to me like you're gonna go with Vice's comp, but I'm gonna go with Quantum Legions this game.
I do think that I favor the ease of execution on Quantum, actually. I'm not necessarily going to, like, 100% pick them, but I do think their 5 is a bit easier to execute. I'm just not a big fan of Mel's support in general. I think she doesn't offer very much outside of damage and that one reflect ability. So I guess I'll go Miami Vice, but I'm really leaning it's like a 55-45 from where I'm standing here.
Yeah, I don't like the bot lane for Quantum Legion that much either, but it is Moby, and Moby was a mid laner for half of the split. So, and Mel was one of his better champions during that time. So, I mean, if there was any support in this league that I was gonna be like, yeah, they can pull off a Mel, it would probably be Moby just because I've seen him with the champ in mid do well.
Is Moby not the support for Vice?
He is. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I mixed up the supports. I'm insane. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is Psycho. Never mind. Yeah, it's Psycho. Moby, I would let Mel slide. I don't know if I'm letting Quantum Legion slide with Mel. We'll have to see. We're gonna have to prove me wrong.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out, but in order to do that, we gotta get into the game, so we'll see you after that spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. We're looking at game 2 of the Blue Water Gold Finals. Miami Vice on the blue side and QLG on the red. Heading out onto the Rift. I wouldn't say there's anything too crazy in any of these setups. Anything catching your eye here, Trashy?
Minions have spawned.
Nothing too crazy for me either. I don't think anything is going to go crazy in this first couple of minutes.
No, probably not. Couple of Ooh, actually, we see
Oh?
Rapid Sammy gets caught out a little bit. Has to flash over the wall. We'll donate a little bit of Stardust over to Razors.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so happy it's finally happened. I have watched this exact same ward almost every game for the last, like, month and a half. Finally someone punishes it, man.
And that does mean that Rapid Sammy's not going to have a flash for a little flag and drag flash to extend the range. We've seen him do that quite a bit with the Shen Shadow Dash last game. Not going to have access to that until about 6 minutes in now.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully it's jungle, so it probably won't have too much of an impact. Just means he'll have a slightly less aggressive early game pathing. But, I mean, it still sucks to lose on your first clear. Plus, he's low health.
Yeah, Jarvan a bit less healthy of a clear than Xin Zhao, who does have a little bit of free healing in his kit every third auto attack. He will regen a little bit over time.
It is a faster clear than Xin Zhao's, which is absolutely just insanely slow right now anyway. So, that's good for him.
Royal privilege. I'm a prince, I
Yep.
clear faster.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Xin Zhao got to have that AP build for a while. Let Jarvan have the clear advantage, right?
Exactly, exactly. We see both junglers headed right back towards that bot side again. I can't imagine that Rapid Sammy has any other target in mind than getting this Mel and Ashe to lay off the pressure a little bit. They're definitely going to have a lot more damage in this early game than the Sivir and Seraphine will.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to gank Ornn versus Mordekaiser, right? Let's just go throw hands on the bot lane. I mean, Ziggs is trying to find a little bit of a poke onto Aesol, and he's going to get it, but I think these lanes are going to be pretty stagnant. Yukio is doing a good job of poking this Seraphine out, though.
I mean, we did see last game that the first real influence that either jungler had was in the Scion versus Urgot matchup, but I suppose that Ornn Mordekaiser is not quite the same thing here.
And to be fair, they did both path bot lane that game, so
That's
we
true.
could
If
very
there's no
well see
angle
it
here,
again.
maybe we're headed up the top.
I mean, we are conceding bot scuttle. We're running straight to top. We could get a little crazy and look for the level 4 dive top lane.
I think it might just be a little bit of a scuttle crab exchange here. Xin Zhao went into the river to grab the crab before his blue buff, which meant that he beat Jarvan to it. And Jarvan will settle for this topside crab instead, keeping that Mordekaiser just a little bit more safe. Might be looking for a play here, actually. He's sneaking into that lane.
He is looking for it. My man Sammy loves his top laner.
Oh, he cancels the E. He cancels the searing charge.
He
Ornn's
does,
got a
and
lot
Mord
of
still has
health,
E.
but that's a pretty good amount of damage.
There's the
Flashes
flash.
out of Death's grasp, will escape. Does get pulled back, but not far enough to be under any threat.
Man, he just loves his top laner. I'm not gonna lie.
No flash gives Pizza just like free reign to bully this Ornn. Ornn really just only has that searing charge as an escape. It's got a bit of a windup. It's not difficult to interrupt.
Yeah, plus Ornn hasn't gotten a back off, so he's pretty low. And Pizza's gonna be coming up on 6 in a minute or so. Ooh, the first reflect of the game, and it's huge.
That's the beat drop. And since the Seraphine was slowed by the Ashe, it's a root. Not quite enough damage to finish off the Seraphine after the flash and heal, but good play by the Mel.
I mean, that is really good for the Mel. You're getting a lot out of his Seraphine early. No flash, no heal. You know, she's completely oomed. You get to crash a wave. It seems like a rough early start to the lane overall for Vice.
It really is kind of like having the poor man's Seraphine Ashe combo. You're able to still reflect that beat drop that upgrades the crowd control from a slow to a root to a stun. So if you reflect it back to the Seraphine who's already slowed by the Ashe, that's basically a free root.
Yeah, I mean, I see the angle for the Mel now. I see it. They planned it as a counter to the Seraphine pick that they knew Moby was going to go for.
I see the vision. I'm still not a full believer, but I'm like 60% there. I'm being converted as we speak.
I think I'm a little more converted than you. I'm like 65% there. Just a little bit ahead.
I just think Mel would like to have a little bit more money than support's going to give her.
Oh
So
yeah.
this would be a lot of damage in that little trade from Sivir here.
I mean,
We're going to get a little
Zen
bit
is
of
just
harass. I do like that
Sure.
Ornn skin, the Aegis frame Ornn, little mech builder.
Yeah, and I
That's
mean
kind of a fun one.
this Ornn is in trouble, man. We're down
Oh, yeah.
22 CS at 5 minutes. That is brutal. The supports are the the CS difference between him and Mel is smaller than the CS difference between him and Mordekaiser. That is brutal.
That is a little bit tough. That is kind of just the Mordekaiser into a tank experience. He is able to just mollywop them for most of the lane. It's going to matter
Yeah.
a bit when he's able to, you know, maybe pull him into the Death Realm at a better location. But as long as Ornn keeps things here, he shouldn't really be under threat of dying, which would be kind of the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, the most important part is that he's still getting XP. You know, Ornn does. I mean, he likes gold like any champion, but at the same time, XP is what he cares about the most. He doesn't W the E though, and he's just
And
gonna
he
get
also
Death
doesn't
Realm.
unstoppable the Death Realm. There is no escape here for Ornn. One more obliterate. Actually, just the Metal Storm is going to finish him off. One kill
Yeah, I
picked up
mean,
to the Mordekaiser, and he'll be borrowing those tank stats from Ornn for the next minute here.
yeah, this lane is going to get progressively harder from here now. That Mord is accelerated.
Well, once Ornn gets to that Canik Rookern, it won't be quite as tough, but in the meantime, it is a bit unfortunate. He just really needs to get to, honestly, those two components for Canik Rookern, or he needs to get to that Hall of Radiance rather quickly. Oh, and there's that Reflect again. Double beat drop. Seraphine's
just
going to go
dead.
down. Executed by Mel's passive. Sivir's getting absolutely run down by the Ashe, but that's a lot of damage coming out of the Ricochet. Has to flash, eat the heal.
He's gonna trade it back.
Boomerang Blade,
No!
not enough damage. The level up saves Ashe.
Oh, that is a tilter for the Sivir, man. I felt like he had it, but that level up at the last second makes the difference.
Oh, if he had just died a fraction of a second later, it would have been a at least a 1 for 2. But as it stands, it's a 2 for 0. The support and the AD carry each get 1.
Yeah, I mean, that is rough shape in the bot lane. And, I mean, the gap in the bot lane is not that far off overall when you add up the gold between support in ADC as it is in the top lane. It's a pretty good start to the game for both teams generally. They're both
Absolutely.
happy.
Kind of like as I mentioned, though, the Sivir and the Seraphine are going to do significantly less damage than this Ashe and Mel, especially in the early game. Seraphine's not exactly a big DPS threat, and Sivir really wants to get to 1 or 2 items before she's going to be really all that strong in a 1v1 or a 2v2.
Yeah, which means Quantum should be able to stack these Drakes. Up in the top lane, though, Mordekaiser's got an angle on Ornn. He's going to get a decent trade, but I don't think he'll have kill threat on this one.
No kill threat, but a good harass. Mordekaiser's got a lot more sustain in that lane with the ability to heal with the Unbreakable. We do see Xin Zhao kind of sniffing around at a dive here. Jarvan waiting in the wings. I don't think he's on vision. They are not going to go for this dive. Mordekaiser eats a little knockup from that Searing Charge.
Yeah, but he didn't have tower
Good
aggro, so
trouble.
it's not going to be too big of a deal.
CS lead is getting pretty rough. 75
getting
to
rough.
37. It's almost 40 at 9 minutes.
Oh lord, the problem is how do you help him? Right? I mean, Xin Zhao goes up there, he's just gonna get Death Realm 1v1'd, and he's going to lose that 1v1 to Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Mordekaiser's probably already approaching that Riley's Crystal Scepter, which is a very cheap item for how obnoxious it is to play against. Isn't quite able to land that Nether Grass, or the Death Grass, excuse me. And will not be able to throw too much harass onto Ornn while he's back behind that tower.
I mean, it is the Pizza Classic. He tends to put on masterpieces in this top lane anytime he gets any kind of a lead, and Miami has identified that. That's why, you know, Sammy is always giving him these early top lane ganks. Jarvan's looking
Jarvan's
up
here
the
in the bot lane. Flag and drag onto Mel. Oh, the Encore
doesn't
extends
reflect.
through Jarvan. Mega Inferno Bomb comes through a little bit too late. Aurelion Sol is here on that Comet of Legend, but is not here in time to give any aid. Seraphine pretty much out of mana here. No fight left to fight.
These last few minutes have been absolutely great for Vice. I mean, top lane is out of control. bot lane is mostly stabilized at this point. I mean, you're down a little bit still, but it hasn't been increasing. Xin
Oh, the
Zhao's in
satchel
trouble
charge
here.
knocks him right into Mordekaiser. Not able to get that Death Realm onto him, though, so Xin Zhao will be able to escape with the knockback from Crescent Guard. Falling Star also used from Aurelion Sol to just kind of secure the escape.
Yeah, I mean, it was good use of that knockback to make sure that Mordekaiser did not get range to activate his ultimate on the way out. But I mean, this is still a really rough game state for Quantum.
And Jarvan is going to be taking these grubs in the meantime. But Xin Zhao and Aurelion Sol might have something to say about it. Singularity comes out. Flash
Yeah,
away.
I think Jarvan's just going to die here.
Well, gets the
Oh, he
EQ
gets out!
before the steering charge. Covenant of Legend comes through, but it's not deep enough. Mordekaiser's here, but he's currently in a 1v3, and he needs to back off and pull someone into the Death Realm, perhaps. Flashes away from the Call of the Forge God, heals up with that Unbreakable. Mel is also here, which means this bot lane turret is going to lose a few plates.
Yeah, they get the objective, but, I mean, Ash's CS lead that was almost 30 CS is gone completely. We're going to lose plates. Ash is going to probably be forced off of another wave. It was okay. I mean, I guess we got the objective, but I don't know if that was really worth it.
In that extended play, they do deny most of the grubs. They actually pick up 2 of them on the side of QLG here. So that means that Mordekaiser's split push will be cut down a little bit as a threat. They still do have the 1. He still does already have that Riley's Crystal Scepter ready to go. Escaping from him is no longer really an option without mobility. But the bot lane still looks pretty good for the side of QLG, and that means that the dragon stacking should still absolutely be on the table for them. Jarvan's going to get found again. EQ's onto the Mel. Big Inferno Bomb comes out onto both Xin Zhao and Mel, but the Crescent Guard is blocking a lot of damage. They're just not able to finish off that Mel. One more bouncing bomb will do it. Encore just doesn't quite get in range. Flag and drag knocks up Typhoon. Jarvan is still able to escape. Now Aurelion Sol finds himself in the back line. This is not where he wants to be. He's not playing Quinn. He is still behind enemy lines.
Yeah, I mean, we just overestimate how much damage we have as a as a jungle support duo. This Mel is not that strong. Ash is just trying to make something happen. This just looks like desperation to me.
The barrier comes out. One flag will do it. There it is.
Yeah, that just read like complete panic. And are we gonna refight this with Xin Zhao Mel again? We are.
We're gonna look for the re-engage. Jarvan's low. Ziggs is out of mana. They're gonna get forced off.
We're committing teleports.
Mordekaiser. Warren TP's in. The fight never ends, baby. Let's see the Call of the Forge God. Here comes Mordekaiser. He's onto the Mel. Death Breath pulls her back in. Obliterated. Sent back to the fountain.
Quantum is still looking to fight, though.
Mordekaiser is still strolling into the back line. Pizza is a menace. Pulls Xin Zhao into Brazil. He's gonna send him on an all-expenses paid trip back to his fountain.
QLG
just
keeps...
demon in this backline. Look at him go. He is unbreakable.
We keep reinforcing. No, Ash, don't come, please. Why are we still reinforcing this fight? It's been over for a minute. Just back off. Oh my god. What starts off as a not great fight, we just double down, triple down, quadruple down in the run it down, and we lose like 6 or 7 deaths in just that fight.
Sorry, lamp fell on top of me mid-fight? Is that? Surely not. But, oh my goodness, at least we get this pause to kind of decompress.
Oh lord.
Goodness gracious, what an absolutely insane series of events. It looked like an okay start. It seemed like Jarvan was kind of caught out in between the Mel and the Xin Zhao. But then Jarvan's able to EQ onto both of them, drop that Cataclysm. Mega Inferno Bomb drops onto the Mel and the Xin Zhao, both taking the full center damage. And from there, the wheels just kind of fall off. Crescent Guard's only going to be able to do so much. Mel goes down, Xin Zhao goes down, Ashe steps up too far, Aurelion Sol steps up too far. Things just got really messy, and it just felt like QLG couldn't find it within themselves to just kind of cut bait and let the play die.
I don't know. I've said at the start of a series that their issue has been overcommitting, and that was one of the worst overcommits I've seen this entire split. I mean, we 2-man overforce in the jungle and get killed. A Soul overcommits to that already lost fight. He gets killed. Then
stepped up
Ash
too far
walks
in the
in
river
solo
for
and
really
tries
no
to
reason.
like
Yeah.
tries to 1v4 hero play. They die. Jungle support run back. We commit the top lane teleport. Why? Just accept you lost the fight. We don't have to throw the whole game over it.
It kind of does feel like the whole game is over for that. It was a small gold lead for QLG, but last I saw in the game, we're looking at like a 5,500 gold lead immediately in the back pocket of Miami Vice, with the vast majority of that being on this Mordekaiser that we just saw walk through 4 people by himself.
Yeah, I mean, we died 6 times in that one fight, and did we even get a kill?
He might have
I
got
don't think
one.
anyone on Miami died. I
I
don't
don't
think anyone
think
on
so.
Miami died. Oh my. That was rough. That was a rough one.
I just wanna
Then you
check
know
with
we get the
production.
immediate
Do we have
pause.
any update on this pause? Like a real one, or are we still waiting on someone who had a lamp fall on their head?
We don't know.
You can say anything if you want, by the way. I don't know if they can hear you or not, but it's fine. Okay, we're still waiting. I don't know if we want to just send it to a break until they come back or not. What are you feeling here, Trash? You want to just kind of yap about the game?
Don't matter to me. I'll do whatever. We can just run it. We can
We'll go until we run out of topics. How about that?
yeah, we'll go for a little longer until we run out of things to yap about. So
Let's have a little conversion check, actually. Now that we've seen a few more fights with this Mel, how are we feeling about the Mel support?
I'm not liking it. I'm
Yeah,
not liking
the
it.
conversion rate's going down a little bit.
I'm not. Xin Zhao is walking around with this Mel like she's a Mel mid, and she's going to one-shot people.
Yeah,
She's not. Alright? He's also walking around with her like she's a Seraphine, and she's going to give him buffs. She's not. I don't know why we're playing this mid-support duo like this, but it's just not working. Rapid has been having a rough night, and I don't think this game has gotten better. And I'm not liking the Mel. It looked okay in lane, but it's just not playing well outside of it.
Yeah, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh has been getting good value out of those reflects in the lane, just able to send those beat drops back at Seraphine. I don't think there's been an encore reflected yet. I think the only one that was used was after a reflect had already happened. But the fight was looking okay. The 2v2 looked pretty good. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, we're back into the game actually, so we can
I guess so.
drop this entirely and we'll come back to it as we see fit with this Mel pick.
They just
Give it
decided
a
El
little-
Bozo, we're back
little
at
tech
it.
pause as the game catches up here.
So here's the real question. How do you deal with this Mordekaiser? I want to know your strategy, how you're dealing with him.
That is the question, isn't it? You send 5 and then he takes a 1v1 and then hopefully you win the 4v1
Yeah.
after he kills one of you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree.
Mordekaiser's just one of those champions that's so hard to shut down once he gets ahead because he's able to force 1v1s in a way completely separate from like a Xin Zhao.
We just hope we can get him to, like, when we 5-ban him, he ults someone near a wall, they can just flash over and hide. I guess that's the play.
Yeah. And then then you can just have like enough people.
Ash
Ooh,
is
we
on
got
the
a
run.
play going in.
But she's not going to make it out.
Flag Drag Cataclysm. Golden Eclipse comes out from Mel, but there's just no damage available.
gonna
No
die
reflect
too.
available. Actually, there was.
She had
It wasn't hit in time. Siver's going to pick it up with the
Oh,
Boomerang Blade.
tragedy.
Send that bot lane right back where they came from. Mordekaiser has the Unbreakable on. Wind becomes Lightning, misses. I don't know if they necessarily want this fight. The Death Realm not available, but still a difficult 1v2.
I know I don't want that fight. I don't know what they were going to do about that one. I mean,
Zinzao's
if we had like a
certainly back
Trundle
anyway.
instead of a Xin Zhao, maybe we could do something about him, but Xin Zhao is not winning this fight, even on even go, which they are not.
Gerald spawning on the map here. The one thing about Ziggs is he is not very escapable. Crystal Arrow
Ooh.
catches from across the map. Great angle. Here comes the Falling Star right as that stun wears off,
Basil?
and he will be executed in that singularity. Shut down over to the Aurelian Soul. Good start for Razors.
All right, and that is going to take our 6.5k gold lead down to a 6.2k gold lead.
As Chris Paul lands a big 3 to cut the lead down to 43. Comet of Legend will get Aurelian Soul out of trouble there. Jarvan didn't have another Flag and Drag available to interrupt it, and so he's just gonna fly on out of there. Siver's taking a lot of damage in this trade, actually.
Yeah,
No Golden
she
Eclipse
does.
available to finish off Sivir, unfortunately, so she will escape with her life.
They're going to get this This wave, though, they should be able to threaten this tower a little bit. I mean, Seraphine has some wave too, but they should just be able to take the tower.
Seraphine trying to clear the wave, but just doesn't quite have enough damage available to her right now. Ash and Mel will finish off that tower, and it will be the first tower of the game, so that is an important pickup for them.
And with that, they cut the gold lead down to 5K. I mean, 4K actually. That's we're making
Progress
some
is
movement
being
now.
made. Xin Zhao a little forward again. Ziggs is going to get hit with the wind becomes lightning, but Jarvan is in the area, and I don't think that's a 1v2 that Xin Zhao is interested in taking.
No, I don't think he wants to run it back for the 3rd time. I think we just chill out, and I mean honestly, we just let our top and mid scale at this point. But Mel is going to scale too, given 30 years because she has no gold, right?
She does have that Ludens in her inventory. I'm not sure that. I mean, I guess I don't know what else I would build.
She might just have to
Maybe the
chaos a
Blackfire
shut.
Torch. Mordekaiser's just gonna be able to finish off this tower and then chase down Ornn here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
Not a lot of
bad.
damage now that Ornn has that Cane of Griffin finish.
Then gets the
Play
knock up on
mid
the
lane.
Ziggs. Okay, we get another pick onto his Ziggs. We're punishing it. Mel's in trouble though. She's on the run out. They're not going to be able to get her.
Does burn the big ultimate. Sky's Descent
But
out of
top.
Aurelion Soul.
Another solo
Pizza's gonna
kill.
take another kill onto Ornn here.
It just feels like every time
Sends him
QLG
back to
finds
the death realm.
anything, it doesn't matter
There's
because it
just no
finds more.
escape. Good flash to dodge the
Ooh,
call
that
of the
was a
Forge
flash.
God.
If he didn't
If
get that
hadn't
flash,
dodged
he
it,
actually would
there
have
actually
died.
would, yeah, there would have been enough Riddle Procs to finish off Mordekaiser. That would have been a nice solo kill shutdown.
Yeah, it would have
Now
been
we're
big,
just
but
kind of on the waiting period between Mordekaiser finishing that Rylaze and now finishing what looks to be a Rift Maker coming up next, which will make him even more difficult in the 1v1.
So I mean, here's the real question: are we gonna get a Mordekaiser Flame Horizon? Because it's looking like it.
He's well on his way. I think Ornn should be able to pick up enough farm, just kind of hanging out in the side lanes, being able to farm with his Q, his little volcanic fissure, just to be able to pick up a few minions a wave. He should be able to hang in there.
Now I'm not sure if you spotted it, but I know I did. Mordekaiser is up 3,000 gold in the top. He is unkillable. I mean,
He's about to get a
Xin Zhao's
little
here.
more once he domes the
Yeah,
Xin
just-
Zhao. Get
just
absolutely
don't even do it.
obliterated. Back to the fountain with you. This is my Rift Herald, and you will
Yeah,
not
I
touch
mean,
it.
I don't know why we're challenging a top objective, especially when Mordekaiser has push. This dude is the raid boss. I mean, he's 2 items at 18 minutes. You're not doing anything to him.
Here comes Jarvan. Flash ults onto the Ashe, who flashes in kind on the hunt burned by Sivir. Nothing doing there in the mid lane, but does burn the flash from Ashe. She will be under duress the next time Cataclysm is available.
I mean, Quantum's not out of it. They do still have a lot of scaling. And when you take out top lane, they're not doing that bad across the rest of the map gold-wise, even if it looks bad KDA-wise.
Goodness,
So-
those Ziggs bombs are doing some real damage, though. Just an EQ takes about half of Razor's health.
Yeah, Ziggs is full build because he has the only item that matters. Alright, and that's gonna be... That's
That's
gonna
not
be it. I
entirely
mean,
true. He needs his Shadow Flame. Let's be respectful.
Okay, yeah, but... I mean, come on.
He's
Come
getting
on.
there, though. He is approaching.
He's got for tier 3s. He's a
We're
nuclear bomb.
staring at 3 pretty big shutdowns on the side of Ice, and I don't know who is best equipped to really grab them. It kind of feels like it needs to be a big, long Ashe stun, and then Aurelion Soul just breathing at them for like 10 seconds, and hope that that's enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna need this
Here we go,
Aurelion
Mordekaiser
Soul.
onto Ornn again. He'd really like to walk away, but Riley's Crystal Scepter says, I don't think so, buddy. How about a nice Death Grasp? There goes about 40% of your HP, like it was nothing to me. Or here on this top side, towards this Mordekaiser, he senses something is potentially amiss, is going to take his reset. Might be that he just has enough in his pocket to finish off that Rift Maker. Not quite. Actually, I don't know. No, he did finish off that Rift Maker. I'm not sure what he's building now. He does have a Giant Spell and a Null Magic Mantle in inventory. Ashe ult does not quite get a catch, but Falling Star will hit Seraphine.
Will and Xin
Encore
Zhao is
catches
going to lock him up.
3, but there's no follow-up available. Boomerang Blade catches Xin Zhao. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to finish him
Oh,
off. That's
no.
also going to catch the edge on Mel. Comet of Legend flies away. Aurelion Sol will escape. That's a 1 for 2 on a play that was initiated by QLG. And now here comes the Rift Herald to try and take down this mid lane tower. Mordekaiser is driving.
QLG finds the play, but Miami Vice says it just finds more. They give him an inch, they take a mile. We get 1 kill? Okay, I take 2 kills, and I'm gonna take your tier 2, and I'm gonna take your inhib tower. Shoot, I might even take your inhib.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage onto Aurelion Sol. He does need to get out of there quickly. But they're just not far off of being able to execute that final chunk of the tower with that Zig Satchel charge. They just don't have the minion wave to quite finish it off. Inhib tower will survive for now. Jarvan's gonna Hexgate out and probably take his recall here. Seraphine just kind of walking through, clearing vision. Aaron is sort of the next objective on the map, although it would be nice to stack up a few more of these Hextech Dragons for a nice little Hextech Soul. Likely still one of the strongest in the game. Definitely feels very good on the side of a Mordekaiser, a Ziggs, a Seraphine who has a new slow to be able to root off of with her beat drop.
Yeah, I mean, this gold lead has ballooned. You know, when it was like a couple hundred gold, all right, we outscale. I don't know if you're outscaling almost 7,000 gold. I don't think that's gonna be a scaling. I think right now Vice needs to make a mistake for Quantum Legion to get back in.
Oh, we have another Death Grasp. Ornn gets pulled back in. Volcanic Rupture's not going to be enough. He's in the Death Realm. Mordekaiser chasing him down. Grasp lands again.
I'm sorry.
Ornn's going to come out and find that he is surrounded. Jarvan comes through, cuts that armor with the Dragon Strike, and gets absolutely obliterated. Ornn will be taking a quick trip back to the fountain as Vice takes a quick trip over to the Baron Pit.
Yeah, I think QLG, though, correctly identifies we can't stop this Baron. So they're trying to get what they can gold-wise back. But Ziggs has so much wave clear. I mean, he's just going to ult the wave of Invo.
There goes the entire wave. Only one cannon minion left alive. All he has to do is hit a bouncing bomb on there, and suddenly there's no threat of the push at all.
Yeah, I mean, he just neutralized the push. I mean, Ashe is going to get a couple plates mid, but, I mean, the Baron's gone. We didn't really get enough to make up for it.
And Ashe is not even going to be able to finish that tower. Mordekaiser is still going to be able to take this inner tower as well in the top lane. Still ends up being a very, very positive play for Vice. Just not quite enough grabbed in return on the side of QLG. They stare down a 7,000 gold deficit, as well as a Baron.
Yeah, I mean...
Xin Zhao might be caught. They're going to hit the blast cone so that he has no escape. Jarvan might be able to get you over the wall. Doesn't quite guess right on where Xin Zhao activated that portal. Doesn't get the interrupt.
Does make it out.
This does have the Sky's Descent. That is going to be important for this next upcoming dragon fight if he's able to hold it that long.
Yep, this is going to be the third Drake. So generally you don't want to give it up. I'm not going to lie, if I'm QLG, I might be giving this one. I don't see the fight angle. It's rough.
Yeah, he gets spotted out here. He is the only... Aurelion Sol is actually the only one in the area. Razor's here. Ashe is in the top jungle. Xin Zhao is taking his recall. This is just going to be given over for free.
Yeah, I mean, I have to I feel like you have to give it, but I feel like if we are going to give it, we need to commit to, like, forcing down this top tower, forcing down something in mid. We can't just give it for nothing.
Inferno Bomb comes out, a little chunk onto the Aurelion Sol, but nothing major. Sky's Descent catches onto 3, but there's no follow-up available, and Satchel Charge is just going to pop that tower.
Yeah, I think he was trying to keep the tower alive, but it just doesn't matter. They're 5-man, and they have a Ziggs. That tower is gone.
The top side, Ashe Mel looking to trade, Ashe Ornn looking to trade that top tower, but they're not going to get there in time. They need to back up so that they can defend this inhibitor tower.
I'm not gonna lie, if Seraphine finds an ult, this could just be an end angle. This is looking really sketchy.
Satchel Charge comes out again, knocks down another inhibitor tower. Mordekaiser stepping up, looking a little bit feisty. Not going to find anyone with that grasp pullback. Looks like they are going to take some resets here, spend all this gold that they've gotten. But here comes Call the Forge God. Crystal Arrow comes down, catches Seraphine. There is no escape for her, and the chase is on. Xin Zhao looking forward. Comet of Legend flying in for the Aurelion Sol. Razor's going to call it off. They're just going to take their one pick and force back the side of Miami Vice.
All right, well, we
Actually,
did it
Zinzao
once.
might be up a little far here. Jarvan is sitting in the shadows, ready to follow up. As we do see Mordekaiser pulling Aurelion Sol into the Death Realm. Razor's going to get run down. There he goes. Unbreakable available. That's a big shield. Does he have it in time? Yes, he does.
In
It comes up,
time.
gets that big heal. Zinzao's going to take a ton of damage. That's a triple kill. Wolven die on a killing spree.
Jeez.
That's just an absolute disaster. Another overchase out of QLG, and now we're looking at only Orin left alive to defend against all 5 members of Miami Vice.
Yeah, game one was close. This one was not. This feels like they're making a statement. We are of a better team, and we will outplay you. And I mean, Quantum keeps showing these signs of greatness where they're like, we find the pick, we find the angle, but they just won't stop overforcing. They find the angle, and they find an inch, and they just try to take a mile every time, and they just are consistently getting punished for it by this team.
It just feels like sometimes that mile is not available, but they are so committed to running it that they're running it down. Like, pardon the pun, but there was so many fights in there that just they lost them, and then they just kept investing more. And at that point, it's like it's even well beyond a sunk cost fallacy. You're sinking yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rough game two. And I want to be honest, like I know Hell had a bad game, but Typhoon is having a rough series. He needs to find his footing fast, or this is going to be a 3-0.
Yeah, just hasn't been able to get involved in the early game. He's got about 8,600 damage in both of these games so far, and that's just not enough to be winning the finals, especially if you're playing the Zinzao, the Nocturne, these big backline threats that need to be, be threatening. They need to be able to make space for those carries. Downfall has been
Hmm.
pretty decent, but just kind of got shoved out of this game by that disaster in the bot side jungle in the river.
Yeah, and I mean, in both of these games, Typhoon is picking the champion that should be stronger in the early game, and he's just not finding that value. He's prying really heavy into like these weird fights where we're like forcing fights in the enemy team's jungle. But if you'll notice, he's not really ganking his lanes
Yeah.
at all, and I don't know why. He has so much setup in this game. He has the Azul stun, he's got Ashe, he's got an Ashe Mel bot lane, and we're not ganking this. I don't know what what the angle he's gone for so far is, but he's got to make a big change in his play style, or Rapid Sammy is just going to continue running over this league.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not a whole lot of league left to run over. Vice is sitting at 1 game away from a grand finals victory in 3-0 fashion, and their only one loss would be their loss to Quantum Legion in the regular season, with they were running a completely different roster. This would be a pretty dominant run, but in order to see if they're going to be able to complete this 3-0 sweep, we do need to take a break before we head into that game 3 draft. So stick around. Right, welcome back. Game 3 draft underway. First ban coming through. It's that Fizz, taken away by Miami Vice. Definitely don't want to be giving that over to Razors today. Heimerdinger's still going to be taken off the board against Pizza.
All right, here's my strategy for this draft. 5 ban Pizza in Prey.
Now, what if he picks in the first 3?
We have
For the sake of
counter pick.
argument.
We have counter pick if he picks in the first 3, and that would mean we get counter pick in both solo lanes because we could third pick. You know, we could R3 top of an R5 mid. So that's a win con. That's an option.
Let it be known, Trashy has decreed that the win condition for QLG Academy is please, dear God, Pizza, stop doing what you've been doing.
Okay, I don't mind that ban actually.
Couple of similar bans. I think this is pretty much even. The Echo is a new ban. Braum left available this time, but a lot of the picks that he's picked to sort of counteract have already been utilized. Wukong, last of the big 4 junglers, might be the first one picked up here.
Yeah, and it's one of Rapid Sammy's best, so I'm not surprised if they're just gonna B1 it.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm surprised they banned a Pantheon over it, to be fair.
That could be a bit of a menace too, but Wukong definitely very strong as a team fight in a 1v2, in a 1v1, just able to be very disruptive to however any team wants to play. Caitlyn Luck's going to be slammed down from QLG. I think they're trying to say, hey, our bot lane's been doing well. We're going to take a lane that can just absolutely run you over if given the chance.
I mean, the big thing is Caitlyn has been Downfall's best champion by a pretty big margin so far this split. So I'm just really happy to see him on it. And the other thing is, I'm 90% sure this Lux is going into the support role, but Razors has played it in comp this split. So I could also see Razors take it.
Jhin gonna be the response from Vice. Not exactly the most lane-dominant AD carry, but definitely has a lot of utility available to him, even if he is perhaps a little bit behind coming out of lane.
And that looks like a quantum win con to me. I'm the biggest Jhin hater on the planet. If you lock it in, I think that's a win con for the other team. With the Pyke? Oh, this is a disrespectful draft.
I do like Pyke with the Jhin. I think the two of them do play well together. And I do think that Caitlyn Lux being a rather squishy pair of champions are rather vulnerable to them. Just in terms of, like, that's a lot of burst damage if you're able to land that Bone Skewer and the Phantom Undertow, and then Jin's able to put a couple bullets in you. You'll take a lot of damage, and Lux does not have a lot of HP if she's the one that gets caught.
The thing is, you show them both early, and now we're able to target ban, you know, the tank killer top lanes, and we can just go super tanky for our jungle top lane, and you're gonna have a hard time getting through our front line with Jhin, Wukong, Pyke being your damage.
We still do have a couple of damage options available. Would not be shocked to see another mage and then a bruiser in top lane. Miami Vice has shown that they don't necessarily need a big beefy front line to play behind, as long as they're able to play their game.
Yeah, that is true. But I just hate Jhin as a champion, so I have to hate on it. I'm the ultimate hater.
As long as you're standing on your business, I suppose. Orianna and Xerath going to be taken out by QLG Academy, cutting down on that mid lane pool a little bit. Malphite and Maokai taken away from QLG by Vice. Little bit of frontline. I'd be very shocked to see a Malphite go, or not a Malphite, a Maokai go into a solo lane or the jungle here, really. It's been a while since I've seen that outside the support role. But I suppose this Mundo does still possess the ability to flex between that top and jungle.
I have seen Quantum Legion play the Sejuani jungle quite a few times. Looks like we're gonna go for it again.
Does
so
give
saying,
up
I'm confident.
Flex.
He's confident he can survive this top lane with the Mundo. I think it's not the worst champion for it, and it's a pretty good Mundo comp so far.
I mean this without disrespect, but where is that confidence coming from? We have seen 2 games in a row now of Pizza just absolutely running over this top lane, and Mundo is a very abusable blind pick.
Well,
Gwen is a great champion to abuse that Mundo blind pick.
Well, listen, the confidence was coming from my hatred of Jhin. All right, I was trying to be like the person advocating for QLG, but I don't know how I advocate now that they have a Gwen. Gwen is a staple champion for pizza. The fact we didn't ban it is actually insane to me. And there's video out.
And Galio gonna be locked in for the mid lane. It's a pretty good engage. I'm not sure that all 5 of these champions necessarily play together in peak
Wait.
physical form here. But Gwen
His
has a
Yone's
lot of
up.
safety with that hero's entrance available.
Is it just Razor's Yone?
Swain. Swain,
Oh.
interesting. Okay, it is 4 melee champions for Swain to just drain dry for a bunch of
guess,
extra
yeah.
healing. But there's a lot of percent health damage available on the side of Miami Vice. Jin with that 4th shot from his Whisper, Gwen with the snip snip and her 1,000 cuts passive, Galio's Winds of War. There's a lot of percent health damage to cut through that Swain.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of
I feel
synergy
like I
with that
want a
Sejuani.
Yone.
There's only that one melee character with the Dr.
Yeah.
Mundo.
I really want a Yone, man. It's arguably Razor's best champ. You know, it gives you that threat to where you can actually try and just murder the Gwen. I don't like the Swain. I don't see the value unless you think you're just gonna smoke Galio. I don't know if you will.
I like
Must
it
be
as
some
a
pretty-
concept because you're just
Yeah.
you're showing 4 melee. Swain is going to be very hard to kill in a straight up front to back team fight, just because he's getting a whole lot of health back pretty much every second he's in combat. Where I don't like it is that all of a sudden you're looking like way back to game 1, the draft that Miami Vice put together to win their game, except you're putting all of your damage on Caitlyn rather than Jinx, who's actually really adept at carrying an entire team fight worth of damage on her back, using her get excited resets.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say this is a 3-0. I
Yeah,
gotta go with
hate to
Vice.
say it, but I'm kind of feeling that way as well. I do like the idea behind the Swain pick. I just don't think the rest of the team really supports it. I'm also going to favor Miami Vice here, and we're looking at potentially a 3-0. But let's see if QLG can maybe pull things back, push us to game 4, defy the expectations. We'll find out as soon as we get into game right after this break. Welcome back. We're here in game 3. All the marbles are on the table. Miami Vice is up 2-0. The scoreboard is currently lying to you. We're going to work on getting that fixed.
Summoner's Rift.
Rapid
Yeah,
Sammy
well,
on the Wukong that I hear from Trashy is sort of a signature pick for him. We'll see if he's able to make things work and clear out this
Minions
sweep.
have spawned.
Typhoon?
Sejuani getting caught here in the mid lane. We saw this happen
Ugh.
first last game. Caitlyn eats a bone skewer. That's going to be a lot of damage onto her. Fourth shot. Exhaust is going to keep her alive. No summoners burn from Caitlyn though, so good discipline there. Only burning the exhaust in order to escape Ignite burned by Moby White.
Alright, so we're just playing on tilt. Oh, wow, that is a rough level 1. I mean, we're just getting cooked everywhere.
Caitlyn being forced to back is not
Ooh.
great for a champion who's supposed to be so dominant in the lane. Just needed a little bit of time to stack up the auto attacks, and you don't get that when Pyke is landing a bone skewer on you and Jhin is following up with fourth shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're playing that far forward when we know there's no wave yet. We know they have a hook champion. Jhin damage early lane phase is not something to be joked about.
A bit of a freeze here. Was there a pause at some point in the game, or are we paused right now? I hear
Well,
things happening, so it's concerning that the screen is frozen.
Well, I mean, the Twitch stream's still running, so I guess we're still active here. We're just gonna have to keep yapping here for a minute, hope it fixes itself.
Absolutely.
So, man, this is
Here,
a
level
rough
up.
start. Level up. Oh, we're really cooked then. You know,
Technical difficulties. We might need to just reset the game. I'm not entirely sure. I think we're gonna cut away for a second, get everything reset, and see if that clears things up a little bit. But we definitely saw the early game going a little bit in favor of the Jhin Pyke lane there. Level 1, Jhin and Pyke do a lot of damage if you're able to land that bone skewer and a couple extra auto attacks.
yeah, I mean, QOG was playing a little too far forward. The important thing, though, is no one died. As long as no one dies, it's always recoverable. Some CS, alright, whatever. We drop a level early, it's not great, but it is what it is. The important thing is we didn't die either in jungle or in bot lane, so it's very recoverable.
Yeah, both supports drop their combat summoners, but those are the shorter cooldown ones. It's only about a 3-minute cooldown, 4-minute cooldown for the exhaust and the ignite. And we're gonna head back into the game here. Hopefully we haven't missed anything large. No kills. I think we're okay. But Gwen is looking. Oh, and there's a pause in the middle of combat. You absolutely hate to see it.
BRB, 5 minutes.
Mom gank is OP, and it looks like Gwen might be a little OP here. There's an ignite dropped on Mundo, and he is waiting to die.
This is not what you want to see when you come back in. Oh no. Mundo is going to die here for sure.
The
But who
stonks are
pressed
about to be
pause?
going down.
We cannot be starting a pause mid all in, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
you
that
gotta let
is
the all in play out.
a little unfortunate. Might just be an unfortunate timing situation. I don't think it was necessarily malicious,
No, I
and I
don't
don't
think
think
it's
Mundo really has
it's
a way
definitely
out.
not malicious. It's not like he's getting out anyway, but it's
Yeah.
just, it's still funny. Well, I
Mundo's
guess we
burned
got
the
5
ghost,
minutes.
but
Womp womp.
unfortunate. I've
So,
got a little bit of time to kill here, so what are your plans for next split? You gonna be playing again?
I don't know. You know, every split, you know, they try and drag me onto a team, kicking and screaming, and I try not to play. You know, this split I escaped to the sub row. Hopefully, I can do it again.
I'm sure your fan club would be very happy to see you back in BOL Gold. They've been
No,
very,
don't
very
tempt them,
loud
don't
and
tempt
proud
them.
here in the chat
Don't
today.
don't tempt them. I'm not trying to get back in.
We gotta get Team Trashman fan club.
No, 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 no. Trashy is retired, okay? And I'm not going in the jungle. I want you guys to know that too. Even if I did play, it would be mid lane, not jungle.
He's retired, but if he's not retired, he's not playing jungle.
No, no, no. I don't know who said that. All right, I don't know who said I'm stuck there forever. I'm not stuck. I'm retired, okay? I'm the substitute demon. I have 100% win rate subbing.
Right here.
Listen, all right? I've got 100% win rate subbing this entire year. I'm keeping it that way. I'm just gonna keep being the sub demon.
What if you just sub every week? Then you'll never lose.
If it's a different team every week, I'm down. All right, if Blue Otter made a role for IBSG that was like the super sub that could be called
Straight
in
up
by
mercenary.
any team, yeah, like just for straight up merc role, any team can call me in at any time, I'd be down for it.
Get that celebrity gank.
Exactly.
Coming to a lane near you, Mr. Trashy himself.
Exactly. I want to be the literal merc demon. I can just show up at any time. Mid-series, I'm getting subbed in. You know what I mean? Like, I play game 1 for one team, and I'm playing game 3 for the other. I want to be that guy.
Mid-game, there's going to be a pause, and they're going to type in all chat, actually, Trashy is taking over for our jungler. We're handing him the account details right now.
Yeah, see, that's what I like to hear right there. All right, Bully's got to set that up. I'll give... You know what? I'll give Bully $100 if he does it.
That should be the thing for like an all-star game. We gotta get Bully in on that. We're just changing out players mid-game.
All right.
I hear movement, so it looks like we're gonna head back into the game here. I heard a ping. Things are going out. The kill did not come through. Mundo was able to escape with his life in that top lane. I wonder if it was more of an honorable disengage from the Gwen there.
Maybe. All right, because they said top was the guy who got ganked. He might have literally just been like, I guess he was walking down. I don't know.
We got our little tech freeze as the game catches up. There we go. Sejuani and Wukong going to catch each other in the jungle. Wukong does have the level lead. Finishes off the smite. Here comes the stun. Galio's roaming up though, and Gwen is roaming down.
Don't have a
I
flash.
think he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. No flash available from that level 1, and he will go down for first blood.
Oh, no!
And Wolven Die will flash in and pick up a 4th shot for a kill onto Caitlyn.
It's a tragedy. It is a tragedy. This game is not looking so hot
That
for the
was
side
just
of Miami Vice.
Unfortunate case of fingers check. The barrier's still available for downfall, just didn't activate it quite in time.
I mean, he had the barrier, he had the flash, he 100% could have survived it.
Light lands, but not enough damage and follow-up for the Lux there. Never move, pull back for Swain.
It's a good pull by Swain. I mean, just, like, he's got no mana, he's got no damage. This is just a nothing of a lane right now.
Yeah, Galio is going to get very tanky, and Swain might have trouble cutting through him, but he is a champion who's pretty well equipped to fight a Galio, simply because he does get a lot of health and he does get a lot of regen during his ultimate, that Demonic Ascension, where he's going to be able to drain off that Galio, that Wukong, that Gwen, who might be in melee range.
So, what's your plan here if you're QLG?
If I am QLG... Oh, ooh, that's a great flash hook.
Oh.
You're gonna have to hold that thought. Caitlyn is in trouble again. Ignite goes down. Phantom Undertow gonna catch the stun. Caitlyn gonna be picked up by the 3rd shot from Wolven Die. 4th shot not even necessary.
Yeah, so I'm just counting to 15 minutes and FFing.
I don't know if necessarily.
I'm kidding. We're not at that level. We're not at that level. I mean, it's still playable. I mean, Swain's still in a good state. Mundo hasn't died yet. Like, it's still playable, but it is it is a little
feel
rough.
like you do need to get into this bot lane and sort of break up this rhythm that Wolven Die and Moby White are on. They are playing very well, very confidently into this Caitlyn Lux, and that's really a lane that you should be kind of scared of. That's a lane that can put out a lot of damage and lock you up for an extremely long period of time. We need to see Typhoon maybe get involved in a play down there. Try and get the Caitlyn and Lux re-stabilized.
Yeah, I mean, we just shouldn't be getting... I mean, how are we letting ourselves get caught by these hooks? You know what I mean? That's the real problem. Wukong is in here, but he's kind of alone. I mean, his team's collapsing. Are they just gonna have to... They're just gonna have to give.
For his entrance. Okay. Knocks up Sejuani. Still no flash available. Wukong dropping very low. Stone Skin
doesn't die.
That headshot.
Swain's gonna overforce.
Finish him off. Demon Flare.
Okay, hold on. No, they win it. They win it.
Here comes the power of Swain in this team fight. He's draining a lot of health. Pulls Pike back in. Galio not gonna fall to that last proc of the Demon Flare. Jin gonna walk out
Jin's
from
in
that
trouble.
Vision of Empire. Dodges the light binding. Barrier.
Oh, but the next one hit.
Never move. Lucent Singularity gonna pop him, and he will drop down to Death's Hand. Razors for Life picks up 2 kills in that fight.
Well, that's what we needed right there for QLG.
Here.
Wait a minute.
Oh, but the Ignite's gonna finish him off alongside that. alongside
He
the
got a little too
needlework.
excited. But Typhoon is here.
Typhoon could clean up this kill on
Gwen still
Gwen
has
and
flash.
should actually do it as well. Does have the flash, does have the Sacred Mist, and dodges out with the skip and slash and the flash. And now Wukong is here to fight the Sejuani. Still flashless, and Wukong has Cyclone if he chooses to invest it. Looks like he's not going to. Mundo is TP'd back in, and now Wukong is stunned up. Gonna get tagged by that briefcase. Getting chased down. He might have to invest the Cyclone defensively now. Try and turn things on to Sejuani. Ghost comes out from Mundo, though. He's going to chase down this Wukong. Unless he gets the clone over the wall. And the briefcase just doesn't quite connect. Oh, Wukong absolutely robs a kill and escapes with his life on the skin of his tail.
And once again, QLG just like they find an okay play, and they just overforce it. You know, once you forced him out of your jungle, you just needed to call it off. But you overforced it. You got punished. Now he gets a kill back. Mundo's chunked out. He doesn't have his ghost anymore, which means his lane's gonna be even harder. It's the story of his team. They find good plays and they have good hands, but they just consistently overforce.
And you were talking about this a little bit in the Champ Select, that Typhoon's been having a rough series and really needs to find his footing. We're looking at a point in time, we're 10 minutes into Game 3, you're down 0-2, you still haven't found that footing. You're already looking 0-3, down 20 CS to this Wukong. Things are only going to get harder from here, and you really need to stabilize as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this needs to be stabilized for sure. I mean, Swain's in a good state. He's got a decent amount of gold, but everyone's so accelerated on the other side. It doesn't feel like he's that strong. He's 2-0, but so is everyone else on the enemy team.
Yeah, 2 kills in the back pocket of Jhin. I haven't seen if he... looks like he's going to go for that collector first item. Caitlyn looks to be going for, I would assume, the Hex Optics. That would make some sense. But we'll have to see if Swain is able to do enough damage and keep himself alive long enough in these fights for it to matter. Pyke is getting collapsed on, but Pyke is a notoriously slippery champion. Does have that Undertow and the Ghost Water dive to keep himself away from harm. And he does employ both to escape that Sejuani and Lux.
Yeah, I mean, the game state is still okay. We're down 2K. It feels like we're down more, but we're not, thankfully. I think a lot of that comes down to just decent CS numbers. Swain's got a pretty big lead in CS in mid. Caitlyn's still doing well on CS, even though she's down 2 kills. So I think that's helping a lot with our gold, but it still doesn't feel great.
Oh, we got a play on the bot lane here, actually. There's four in the area. Bone Skewer not going to quite land. Wukong here, and Galio also collapsing. Looks like the play is just going to get called off. No counter engage, no engage, no nothing. Everyone's headed back to this.
It was looking a little scary there for a second. Galio messed up his E and hit the wall. I feel like if Galio got into range, it might have been at least a forced flash out of Razors.
And the taunt, good little combo there out of Galio. Trades back pretty well onto Swain, loses about half of his health, while Galio only loses his little magic damage shield from his Shield of Duran passive. Their Winds of War lands, but Swain still staying pretty healthy. Not a whole lot of kill threat by just a sole Galio here.
Yeah, I mean, I still really want to see something done to help out this bot lane.
It's a good light binding. It's going to be a full combo, but Caitlyn is channeling her recall. There's nothing available to finish off the kill. Jhin and Pyke will just also take their reset now, and the lane will be completely neutral until both lanes come back.
Yeah, and it looks like Vice's bot lane has identified that, yeah, we're ahead, but we are very obviously the only real target for their jungler to look at. So we just gotta stop forcing and just let it play out as it is.
Wukong's going to take a little trade onto Swain here. Doesn't quite win out on it, but does get a little Sundered Sky proc for a little extra healing. As well as a little extra regen from that stone skin. Neither of them really going to find too much. Pyke is going to find this pink ward here in the mid lane, though, and might find himself in a little bit of trouble. Flashes away. Undertow not going to catch the Sejuani. Pyke will escape with his life.
Mundo does have teleport, but if he were to use it, he would be just conceding this top tower, which I don't think is wise. It does look like we're going to get a good 4v4 bot. side.
Mundo actually does not have teleport available, and Gwen
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
has the quest
I
teleport ready to go. But I don't know that you necessarily want to give Mundo
No.
time to take a few plates off that tower.
No, I don't think
Three
either.
in the river here. Galio walking in kind of by himself. Swain's gonna pop the ultimate. Demonic Ascension.
Wukong on the
Exhaust
flank.
goes out on Pike. Ooh, the hero's entrance is cut short by Sejuani. Swain is just kind of left with no one to drain. Rapid Sammy's gonna pick up Downfall. He's fighting onto Typhoon here. Swain is gonna be found out with no ultimate. Sejuani, no way out, no flash available. Will go down again. Rapid Sammy on a killing spree and just absolutely running over this jungle matchup.
Oh my lord, Rapid Sammy is just an absolute demon on the Rift. He finds such a nasty flank onto Downfall. I didn't realize he was there.
Oh, hold that thought. QLG might still be looking at a play here, even though Swain doesn't have his ultimate. Lux is also waiting on that final spark to come back up. I don't think Swain really has an angle to play here, and they will just back off. Be another Ocean Soul this game as well. That's a nice feeling for a Swain or a Mundo who would really like to have all that extra healing, but it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for them to secure those 4 Ocean Dragons necessary.
I'm just happy that they did identify, hey, we already lost for Drake. We don't have to recommit to it. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy about that.
Much less
The
of an
game-
oversend this game.
The game's still in an okay state. We're down 3k, but it's already 13 and a half minutes. So it's not as bad. And if we look at where gold is, I mean, it's mostly this Wukong. That's the difference. Mid is still doing well. Bot lane has actually closed the gap over the last several minutes rather than widening it. So I think we're in decent shape.
Yeah, the only danger here is that Caitlyn is still pretty behind in the individual level, I would say. The 3 deaths. It's nice to have that 3 CS lead, but we do have a fight here in the mid lane. Swain hits that Demonic Ascension. Galio just does not have enough health. Swain's going to pick out that shutdown with a couple of nice procs of the Demon Flare and a little help from his jungler.
And that's a big shutdown. I think Swain getting ahead is the win con we really desperately need for this game. But, oh, okay, I thought we were going to commit onto that. Okay.
The Bone Skewer lands, but enough damage comes out that Pyke isn't really able to continue forward. We do see Sejuani headed down here again. No ultimate available, and will get spotted out on these wards and the Jhin trap. So not going to be too over-aggressive on this Jhin and Pyke here.
That's alright. I got a little scared. I thought they were going to go for a tower dive. That would have been unfortunate. I'm getting word that someone in the Blue Otter staff is a Dignitas fan. Everyone go ahead and boo them real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and boo the Dignitas fans.
No.
TL on top. But, let's get back into this.
No, my brother. We've suffered together.
He's a rich fan! Oh, Lord!
Let's go! He's the goat of Hots! Show some respect!
Oh, get him out of here!
He's
He
the
can go
faker
back
of
to
Heroes of
Hots!
the Storm!
Go back to Heroes of a Storm!
Okay, let's get back into this game now all of a sudden. We do see this Swain that I was talking about in the draft is looking pretty good. It's going to be very valuable to have in these team fights when you're staring down a Gwen, a Wukong, a Galio coming at you. Just to be able to sit there, tank up all their damage, and suck up all that extra HP through that Demonic Ascension. Galio's going to be forced to Justice Punch his way back towards his jungler. As we see Swain, Sejuani, and Lux on the approach. Who's in Singularity going to find out Galio here, but they're just kind of walking right past him, looking towards that Wukong.
QLG has numbers.
Here. Hero's entrance is going to come down. That's going to drop onto 2. Swain, Sejuani both knocked up. Here comes the Cyclone. Double taunt lands.
Caitlyn's
Swain
here.
knocked up in the air, but his health bar is just not going anywhere. He is draining so much HP. Gwen can't even cut through it in time. Out of charges of Needlework, needs one more auto attack to stun. The exhaust comes out, skip the slash over the wall, but the flash follow finishes her off. That's a kill over to Caitlyn and a shutdown. Swain also picks up a kill onto Pyke in the extended fight. That's a great turn from QLG.
Yeah, it looks like we're just sacking this bot tower. We're going, hey, we can't rotate to challenge this and leave Kate down there alone anyway. So we're just going to hard commit. We're going to take the odd numbers fight and try and find that advantage to put us back in it. And I think that was the correct call. This Swain is an absolute raid boss now. I mean, he's up 1,500 gold.
Yeah, they're gonna need to get some Grievous wounds in a rapid fashion. Actually, ooh, gets caught by a nice Bone Skewer, but a great double light binding from Lux. That's gonna keep him alive. Great play by Yukio to save Razor.
Caitlyn and Sejuani are in the area. I'm a little worried that they're gonna overstep here.
Barely catches Lux. I don't know if there's enough damage though. Galio just barely can't finish off the kill. It's gotta feel really bad for Bureau, and now he might be on the wrong end of this play. Sejuani's here. Good flash to get away from the Arctic Assault.
I'm actually really happy with the way QLG's played this last 2 rounds. They're really finding these angles, and they haven't been overstepping on them too hard.
Galio might be in a little bit of danger here, but it looks like they're going to collapse onto
Swain's
Wukong here. He's getting caught out in the jungle. Swain has not popped the Demonic Ascension. Jin and Wukong have been separated off of this fight. Taking out the Wukong. Headshot comes in, finishes off Jin. Wukong low on health, finishes off the Sejuani, but is going to wander his way into a Swain who is currently demonically ascended. Galio is going to find himself in a bit of trouble too. Final Spark is going to finish him off. And that's going to be a couple of kills picked up right before this Ocean Dragon spawns, and suddenly that uphill battle's looking not quite so uphill.
Yeah, I mean, Swain gets in there, and they just don't have the damage to kill him. Without Gwen, they don't have a great option for dealing with this Swain, because Jin is such a relatively low damage ADC, and Caitlyn's just allowed to free fire.
Yeah, and it's big that Swain's first item was that Malignance. It means that the downtime between his Demonic Ascensions, where he's actually pretty vulnerable to being ganked or to being killed in these fights, is much, much shorter with that extra ultimate ability haste. And he's going to be doing that little bit of extra damage just because of that little pool that reduces your MR and does a little bit of extra damage every time you do damage with that ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, it is one heck of a game here for QLG. They're fighting back, finally. It felt like they were just going to roll over after last game. But Razors is doing what Razors does, which is he builds his individual lead by finding these plays on the map, and his team is taking great advantage of that.
Ooh, great 90 caliber net to dodge out from that Justice Punch, and Galio eats a couple of headshots for about half of his health. Didn't know that you could headshot a mech, but here we are.
Downfall is just playing with so much confidence on this Caitlyn. He is not scared of them at all.
Not anymore. After that rough early game, you think, oh, actually, a white binding catches on a Galio. Ace in the hole comes out. Sejuani's a little bit separated from the rest of the team, though. Oh, the Glacial Prison goes wide. Pike is going to be able to walk it out. Ooh, Wukong might get caught here, though. Does get caught out by a trouble. Entrance is going to cut off the chase.
He gets onto Caitlyn.
Way under tower, but there's just not enough damage to follow up, or is there?
Oh!
To land the death from below. That's 900 gold into his pocket, shared with the rest of his team. That's a big shutdown, and it cuts
that
them
is a huge
in half.
That is a absolutely massive play by Pike, but they're gonna go for more.
Again. Death from below doesn't finish Sejuani.
Caitlyn's free firing.
Off, but Jin is forced to flash away.
It feels like it's swapped. This time it's Miami Vice that's overplaying her hand.
Well, looking a little dangerous in the Dr. Mundo matchup. Is going to be able to heal up a little bit with that needlework. Mundo does now have that Warmogs and enough HP to activate it, which means that he is much more difficult to push out of lane.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they finally found a way to neutralize this top lane against Pizza, and because of that, they're able to find these plays. I mean, if Pizza's not able to leave top lane to come to these team fights, you're just going to lose them. Jin alone with this build, this is like the anti-damage of Jin build. I mean, he's going rapid fire cannon, collector. There's just not a lot of damage there to deal with the Swain and Sejuani frontline.
He did kind of need to take that little pit stop to try and get to that heal reduction. He does have the Executioner's Calling. I would recommend that he just sits on that and starts building towards that Infinity Edge, because that force shot is going to be really important for getting through a Swain who has that Demonic Ascension on and has a lot of HP in order to kind of bolster that execute. Sejuani gets pulled over the wall by a nice Bone Skewer out of Moby White. Not enough damage to follow up, and there's going to be no steal coming through from Rapid Sammy.
Oh, but Gwen is here for the team fight.
The fight is on. They might be able to let this ultimate run out, but it looks like there's going to not be a re-engage. I know Spark catches a couple, but not enough damage to secure a kill.
No, it is a good call by QLG. They see that for Gwen is here. They identify that, hey, we cannot fight in the 4v5, especially with Gwen here. We're just going to back off and let Mundo push a bit top. But the question is he going to be able to walk this out, or is he going to get punished for overstaying?
I don't think Wukong has the damage to threaten him. Wukong, interestingly, has not gone for the Trinity Force that I usually see. He has a Sundered Sky, and at least components know he has finished that Black Cleaver now, actually. So I'm not sure how much damage this build is going to do now that he doesn't have that Sheen prop.
I don't think he's too worried about...
You see the Gwen absolutely snipping through that health bar. Nice couple of thousand gone immediately. Forced to pop that maximum dosage.
No, I mean, this Gwen is really, really strong. If she's able to actually come online in these team fights, she is going to be a problem. But so is Swain.
Yeah, Swain is arguably the bigger problem. Swain needs to be cut down, honestly, kind of by the Gwen. She's the only one that has enough percent health damage in her kit naturally to be able to cut through him at, you know, anything resembling a reasonable pace. But if she's in melee range, that means that Swain is also healing off of her. And probably Galio, and probably Wukong, who weren't able to probably sneak past him. Especially if he gets a Riley's Crystal Scepter, it'll be very difficult to deal with him in a team fight.
Yeah, you gotta manage. You gotta find a way to link this Jin up with this Gwen, because that's gonna be your only real way to take down Swain. Is going to be Gwen's damage with Jin's anti-heal.
Don't really see an opportunity for that right now. Could be looking at this next dragon. Swain's gonna walk in and find himself in between Biru and Rapid Sammy, but it looks like Rapid Sammy's not particularly interested in taking this fight. Swain's gonna pop that Demonic Ascension, but Pyke is also here. Ignite goes down. Let's see if these three have enough damage to get through him, or if that extra healing is gonna matter. Death from below is going to claim the kill. Money in the pocket of Pyke, and a little extra in the pocket of Wukong.
So they're just gonna rush down the Baron here, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if QLG is gonna get here in time to really contest. Galio's still backing, but force onto Gwen, but she's just gonna be able to be immune and walk it out. It looks like they are gonna be here in time for a fight.
Curtain Call is available for Jin. Here it is. It's gonna open it up.
Are we gonna 50-50 it?
Smite is gonna get confirmed. Here's the hero's entrance, though. Are they gonna be able to escape?
Oh!
Caitlyn Lux both flash over the wall. Gwen is gonna follow. Snips, snip, snip right down that Lux. Here comes Jin chasing onto Caitlyn. That extra crit move speed coming in. Barrier comes out. He has to reload. There's not enough damage. He's gonna die, but he will take Caitlyn with him. That's only gonna be Dr. Mundo, I believe, escaping with that Baron buff.
Yeah,
Here comes Swain. He's on the chase. He's looking. Here comes. He's gonna go for this 1v3 again. I don't think he has the Demonic Ascension available. No, he doesn't. Can Pyke land this Bone Skewer? Can he get it back? Yes, he can. Wukong, does he have the damage to cut through the Swain? That Demonic Ascension's coming up really soon. There it is. They need to finish him off, and they need to do it right now. He will get that last Extendo Staffo bonk to finish him off. Swain will go down again, burning the ultimate and the teleport and the flash. That's a lot expended in that fight.
If Swain had landed that last E, I think he may have been able to clean that fight up. But, oh, was that rough.
Gwen might be on a bit of an overstay here now. She's got to snip her way through a couple of tanks here. Sejuani is not going to do a ton of damage, but Mundo sure will. Ace in the hole is going to come in and claim that last kill. Mundo actually doesn't even get an assist, but Lux is just kind of in no man's land. I'm not sure what she was doing there.
Yeah, she is kind of a mile out of position. Not only is she alone, but she's ahead of her own wave.
Just gets picked up by that Pyke, rooted up by Jin, and actually Pyke is going to get crit down as well by that Caitlyn. That nice little extra range, courtesy of Caitlyn, just happened to have a sniper rifle.
Yeah. The current score is it's 2-0 in Vice's favor, but it looks like QLG is finding their chance to fight back. I mean, game 2 was an absolute stomp. This game is very back and forth. This Swain is strong.
Things are looking much closer this time. Yes, there's just not a lot of great tools to deal with this Swain, and Swain did get pretty ahead. We only saw these last couple of times he's gone down. There was the Ignite on his Demonic Ascension in the bot lane, and then he just kind of overplayed in that mid lane where he TP'd in without his ultimate. Just
Yeah,
that's beyond the limits of what Swain's capable of right now.
And now we're stacking these Ocean Souls onto a Mundo Swain card.
Yeah,
Their second
two
dragon.
Ocean Dragons. Suddenly the dragon count is equalized in a position, and that's a position that I really couldn't have envisioned just 8 minutes ago.
No, I mean 8 minutes ago I thought it was over. I'm not gonna lie. It felt like it was over, but we've managed to turn it back.
We do see a couple other instances of heel cut coming out. Wukong has now picked up that Executioner's Calling. Jin has finished off that Infinity Edge. That will matter a lot for his own personal damage. Pyke does have as well that Umbral Glaive to kind of deny a little bit of vision. Gwen also kind of approaching that Rabadon's Death Cap. That's going to be a lot of damage. We're going to see which of these two sort of drain mages. Oh, Gwen is just going to absolutely cut Swain in half. Snip, snip, goodbye.
Yeah, and to me it looks like Razors has kind of fallen into one of his old habits, which is he gets a lead up and he overplays it on the side lane a bit. Pyke is looking though, he doesn't get the hook onto Caitlyn, but she is still in danger.
Just not quite in range for there to be a bunch of damage here. Taunt lands onto Sejuani. Bone Skewer pulls her back. Nimbus Strike. Final Spark going to split the fight in half, but no one's going to get hit, and that's going to be a free kill onto Typhoon here. Unfortunately, something that we've been saying a few too many times this series.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Typhoon has been one of the premier jungles this split. He's been a top 3 jungler the whole split, but it's just been a rough night for him. He has been gapped, for lack of a better word, by Sammy, and it's not entirely his fault. Some of it has been, you know, Sammy's team creating advantages that he's able to play off of, and a lot of it has just been Sammy playing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been on these really playmaking champions, the Wukong, the Jarvan in the last game. He's just been able to create a lot of pressure. And absolutely with Razors, he got ahead, and it just feels like he thinks he is so much farther ahead than he really is. Gwen is still an absolute menace of a champion to fight in a 1v1, and the value of Swain in this team is that you can stand in the middle of 3 or 4 melee champions and be so difficult to kill. When you're only healing off of one guy, it's not nearly as threatening.
Yeah, Swain is strong, but the Gwen is just as strong at this point. She has the death cap, she has anti-heal. He's going to have a hard time dealing with her now because of him overplaying on the sides. It gave their team time to catch back up.
Yeah, absolutely. Swain does, in fact, have that Riley's Crystal Scepter, though. That does mean that he is going to be just that little bit more threatening in a full 5v5 team fight. It's going to make it very difficult for Vice to just bail on any fight that might look not so good. You see Mundo kind of getting seen here by Gwen, but she's not going to engage the fight. Doesn't have her stacked up for the snip, snip, snip. She does snip, snip, snip about a third of his health off. Love to see a big chunk of damage, especially a bunch of percent health true damage out of Gwen there.
We're positioned
3 people
pretty
kind
aggressive.
of walking in on this red side jungle. Pyke was in the area, pushed away. They're going to find a ward here.
Yeah, I think we're just
No,
playing
also
for
sort
some
of a
vision.
flank.
But Pyke's got a good flank here. They might just look for the fight.
Ooh, Binding just doesn't quite land. Wukong able to dodge away. Watchmaker
Pyke.
lands, Arctic Assault lands, but no follow-up really. Bone Skewer just doesn't quite land either. I'm not sure what happened with that. It looked like it got cut very short. Glacial Prison lands onto Wukong. He's able to clone away. No further follow-up there. Galio's going to flash in and land a taunt on the Lux, who's going to be forced to flash herself. Typhoon is doing a good job keeping Pyke and Jin away from the fight, and Jin opens up at a poor angle. That's going to just be a free kill onto the Galio. Only exhaust expended. Pyke is not able to escape either. That lethal tempo alongside the extra range granted by the Hex Optics means that he has no way out.
Man, Downfall is just absolutely pumping in these fights. He's playing with so much confidence, willing to walk forward. Wukong's looking for Swain though, and I don't know if
There's
Wukong
just not enough damage here, but Gwen's on the way. She's going to be able to snip, 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 and use that needlework. Finishes off the kill. Ace in the hole comes in. Gwen is able to absorb that and then heal up off of the Sejuani here. Wukong's going to be able to turn around, get a little Sundered Sky healing. Oh, and Jin's going to be able to collect that kill onto Sejuani.
Oh, and we're
Wukong's
back to our
barely
game 2
able.
habits of just overplaying our hand by a absolute mile, man. Razors, you are strong, but you're not 1v3 after inhib tower strong.
You
Typhoon.
absolutely need a little bit more damage from your team. Sejuani was close, but she wasn't close enough, and the same can be said of Caitlyn. The ace in the hole came in, but that's just not enough. You need to also have that DPS of her auto attacks. Kong's going to be forced actually to clone out over the wall here, so that's control of the Dragon Pit to QLG, but here comes Gwen. She's a bit of a menace. Swain's still back in the base, but he's teleporting in. Elio's buying a lot of space, buying a lot of time. Are they going to be able to finish this teleport? Finish this dragon? Swain comes in, but he is kept out from the root. Wukong is going to be able to smite this down. Rapid Sammy picks up the third dragon. Looks like they might be trading over Biru as a little consolation prize.
Yeah, it's a consolation prize, but it's not one I want to receive, honestly, because Razor's overplay on that top side, followed by Typhoon overplaying on the top side, costs us that third Drake when we were stacking towards a major win con.
Yeah, we still do have a little bit of time. We're still staring. We actually have a quick pull onto the Baron here. I don't know if Vice is even considering this as an option. There's no vision in the area. Pike is the nearest one nearby. Lux is going to drop an ult. There's just no response at all. An absolute steal. What a heist from ULG.
I don't know how you let that happen. I'm gonna be honest. They just get a completely free one. It's not like you couldn't respond. Gwen has teleport. Half your team was in mid. I feel like you could have responded to that.
Just didn't seem like it was a thought that crossed their mind at all that they could be on that Baron, and they are punished for their lack of diligence.
Yeah, I mean, QLG, they have overplayed their hand many times. Miami just seems like the more on the same page team. You know, they seem to always be on the same page. But, I mean, QLG is just finding plays, no matter the game state.
Looking at a couple of different win cons for both of these teams, though. Gwen really turning into a menace, not far off of that Void Staff, I would have to imagine, sitting on that Blighting Jewel in the inventory. Mike's going to get a little caught out on the side here, eat a final spark for his troubles, but no harm, no foul. He'll back off and heal up. Caitlyn looking absolutely menacing. 4 items and a little bit of lifesteal in her pocket. Dr. Mundo scaled up pretty effectively at this point. Still definitely under threat from this Gwen, though. Takes a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's still
We're going to see the 1v1 actually play out here. Mundo gets a lot of health from that maximum dosage, but not nearly enough. Gwen absolutely eviscerates him with those 1,000 cuts.
I don't really know why he's committing to that. That seems fairly unwinnable. I guess maybe he was just trying to buy time while his team sieges, but even then, doesn't really make sense to me. Wukong finds downfall, though.
Oh, that's a great hero's entrance. Cuts
no
off the
way out.
exit. Caitlyn is down immediately. Sejuani is sure to follow. Double kill into the pocket of this Jhin. Wolven Dai is looking to be a Wolven winner. Needs to chase down this Lux. They need to try and take priority of this mid lane so that they can cut off this Baron push.
Yeah, I mean, you can play the team fight well, but it doesn't matter if you're just not allowed to play the team fight because we're insta-killing you.
Absolutely, just another good catch onto that Caitlyn. The Caitlyn, of course, being the major win con as long as Swain is not present in the fight. And Swain looks like he's about to get cut in half as well. There he goes, getting snipped right back to his fountain.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a...
That shot was disgusting.
It just smacked my entire point out of my mouth. That was disgustingly strong. I think this next Drake is going to be the big decider. In my eyes, the way to get back into as QLG is you get this Drake, then you use the scaling. You use the infinite healing on Swain Mundo to give you your play back into this game. But it just feels so tough. Gwen is up 4,000 gold individually. That is a brutal amount to make up. A 3,000 gold diff in the jungle. But we're up in mid. Our ADC is up. Support's fairly even. It's just this top jungle that just can't keep up.
Yeah, what really needs to happen is QLG really needs to find these 5v5s again. Gwen is one of the strongest points on the map for the side of Vice. every time they're sending Mundo over, every time they're sending Swain over, they're losing those 1v1s. They need to be able to take a full team fight and hopefully deal with her there, or they need to take a 5v4, deal with the rest of the team, and then have the resources to go back for Gwen. Gwen's gonna find Swain here again. Swain gonna be forced to flash away, pop the Demonic Ascent, pop the Zanyas. Glacial Prison catches onto Gwen, but the Sacred Mist keeps her safe from that final spark. She absolutely cuts down Sejuani, cuts down Swain. She's on the chase. Curtain Call is going to catch both Caitlyn and Lux with slows. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Gwen gets very low off of a headshot, but it's not quite enough to finish her off. Caitlyn's going to get rooted up by that captive audience, by that Deadly Flourish, excuse me. Mundo is splitting here on the side. Galio can't actually deal with him. There's way too little damage.
Yeah, but here comes big raid boss
Here
Gwen.
comes Gwen, and there is the Ocean Soul now claimed for Miami Vice. Mundo's going to pop the Ghost in the maximum dosage and just run his way out of here with that stock meter ticking for all it's worth.
So, in your mind, how can QLG still win?
They really need to find a way to force... They need to force a 5v4, if at all possible. They need to find a way to get everyone except Gwen on the same side of the map, and they need to hopefully win that fight, despite the fact that Jhin is also looking really strong, actually. But the matter of fact is, I just don't know if Swain has enough health, enough draining to keep him alive through the onslaught of all this damage coming out, and through all this anti-heal as well.
I think what you need is a Gwen pick into a Baron Force in 50-50 it.
That's the other way of doing it. You either need to send 5 onto Gwen and actually get her, or you need to send 5 onto the entire rest of the team and hope you can wipe them there.
Okay, Galio's gonna get stunned up, but there's not a lot of damage behind this Sejuani right now. And Wukong has the flank. Caitlyn's in trouble.
Interrupted. Wukong flying in, Hero's Entrance, going to lock up Sejuani and Mundo here, but there's not a lot of damage in this backline here either. Gwen absolutely eviscerates Lux though, and she's sending that needlework all over this jungle. There goes Mundo, there goes Lux, here goes Swain. Triple kill into the back pocket of the Gwen, and Pyke is going to finish things off. That's an ace for 1. Miami Vice just running over this game now.
And it looks like Miami Vice is going to finish out this dominant split from them, with them not dropping a single series of the entire split into this 3-0 victory in finals.
Just another absolute masterclass from Pizza. He was just a monster all series long. The top and jungle have been huge for the side of Miami Vice. Good showings from the rest of the team as well. Biru's been very stable. Wolvendai and Moby White have been really hanging in there. But in the end, man, it's that top jungle diff that really made the big difference in this 3-0 victory for Miami Vice.
Yeah, and I guess it's that. There it is, our IBSG super team right there, with them just absolutely breezing through this split. You know, QLG, you guys did well, and I know it felt rough the way tonight went. Oh my god, 80k damage, jeez. I know it felt rough for the way tonight went, but there's no team that would have done much better here. Everyone else did the same against Miami Vice.
Actually, QLG, as I mentioned early on, was the team that did the best against Miami Vice. They were the only team that took 1 game off of them during the regular season, excuse me. Miami Vice came in with a 10-1 record. They won the quarterfinals 3-0, they won the semifinals 3-0, and now they won the finals 3-0. There was just no one left that could stand up to them at this point, and I think Pizza has proven that he deserves to be called the best top laner in the league.
You know, I think it's time for Pizza to be added to the Yeet list. Bully's got to bring back the Yeet list, and Pizza's got to go on it.
It's a worthy send-off.
This guy is too good for IBSG.
He's just absolutely ran, I think, pretty much every series I watched this split, so... Man, just an absolute performance. Really good from Rapid Sammy as well. The Shen in Game 1, the Jarvan Game 2, the Wukong Game 3, all 3 of those champions just doing a really great job of making proactive plays all over the map. It's hard to sing their praises enough. The top jungle made a huge difference here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, boys. It's time. Open up the investigations. All right, because that was a master class. This is a IBSG super team right here.
Send the FBI after him. The federal BOL investigators.
Bully's gonna have to whip out Fasoon trademark.
Put it in the player chat. We'll hit him with some skull reacts. But in the meantime, dominant 3-0. Congratulations, Miami Vice. I think that's gonna do it for us here tonight, though. Do you have anything else to add, Trashy?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, then thanks for joining us. It's been a great time. We'll see you next time for Blue Water League Gold.